One of them here in Atlanta near the Lindbergh MARTA station, the one on Douglas Road in Alpharetta, Buford Highway in Brookhaven, and Memorial Drive in Decatur. That's all the ones that are closing here in the metro area. Kroger says they're closing dozens of locations around the United States to enhance efficiency and streamline their operations. Starting today, hailing a ride here in Atlanta is changing in a big way.
After a successful test run in Austin, Texas, Uber today announcing it's now offering driverless rides in Atlanta, teaming up with Google-owned Waymo. Dozens of Waymo's robo-taxis will service 65 square miles of the city from downtown to Buckhead and to Capitol View, with plans to expand in the future. Riders can indicate their preference for a driverless ride or opt to switch to a human-operated car. I'm Bloomberg's Tom Busby for 95.5 WSB.
All right, let's check your money. The Dow's up 450 at 43,032. The Dow's up more than a full percent, so is NASDAQ and the S&P. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at your lunchtime roads.
And some better news for those heading up from the airport into downtown. Crash cleared 7585 northbound just before I-20 exit 247. Still seeing some brake lights back to Langford Parkway, but that will start to get better. If you're traveling on the south side, on and off the brakes in Stockbridge, 75 southbound, Highway 138, down past Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224. No crashes in the way, though. And still got that construction. Don't forget about this throughout the day. It's in the right lane of the Buford Spring Connector northbound, ran to I-85 northbound. That stays out there into PM Drive. That might cause some issues, so we will keep an eye on that. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Now your 5-day forecast sponsored by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta.
Partly cloudy, hot and humid today with temperatures trending about 10 degrees above average. The forecast high is 98. Heat index values 100 to 105. So that's why a heat advisory is in effect for this afternoon. Not much of a relief for tonight. Lows in the mid-70s. Another hot day tomorrow, high 97. Watching for scattered rain showers and thunderstorms to develop late in the afternoon through the evening hours. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, partly cloudy with pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Thursday's high is 95. Temperatures dropping down to the low 90s for Friday and Saturday.
90 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. Another exciting edition of the Eric Erickson Show where you have no idea what's going to happen from minute to minute because Lord knows it depends on if the president's by a keyboard or not. Welcome. We've got peace in the Middle East. Allegedly, the president dropping F-bombs. The phone number 877-973-7425. So here's what happened. And I'm going to give you not the spin. I'm going to give you the truth. Some of you will have issues with the truth, but this is the truth. We now know this is the truth. All sides are now admitting this is the truth. Donald Trump put out a statement on Truth Social that there was going to be peace, that everybody had agreed to a ceasefire. It was news to everybody else. This was massive leverage by the president of the United States. He comes out. I mean, you got to admire the testicular fortitude of Trump to do this. He comes out and he says, hey, both sides have reached out. They want peace. There's going to be a ceasefire at midnight. That was news to the Israelis. That was news to the Iranians. They thought about it. They're like, okay. It was very, very, very gutsy of him to do. And neither, and by the way, I'm not making that up. We know this is actually what happened, that the president that did this and then basically forced both sides into doing it. It's an enormous credit to the clout of the United States having wiped out Iran's nuclear capacity, allowed Iran to volley some missiles at us. It was a big signal the way they did it, telegraphing in advance where the missiles were going to go so we could anticipate them, to say, all right, Iran's really not looking for a fight. And so he goes out and says, everybody wants a ceasefire. There's going to be a ceasefire. Everybody's got the ceasefire, and that was news to everybody. In fact, press reports today out of Israel say Netanyahu tried to talk Donald Trump out of doing it, and Trump was like, nope, you're going to have a ceasefire. You're going to do it. And Netanyahu said, okay, so they lobbed missiles at each other all night. It was supposed to go into effect at midnight last night. There are still some missiles firing. Got the president to drop F-bombs. We have deleted the F word.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
I would like to commend my producer for cutting the F word out of there. They don't know what the F they're doing, is what the president said.
Do you message speak with the Prime Minister? Did you talk to Prime Minister Netanyahu last
I
night?
speak to everybody.
Are you going to call the Prime Minister?
Both sides not to violate the ceasefire, but reports coming from the region suggest that the sides accuse each other for violating the ceasefire. So
I think they both violated it. I don't think I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it, okay?
He has apparently stopped it. Netanyahu deciding to reprioritize what they're doing. So here we have peace in the Middle East. Again, I'm going to be real honest with you now. I don't think it lasts. I don't think it lasts. For a lot of reasons, I don't think that it's going to last. These people have been fighting for quite some time, and I don't think it's going to change. I don't see that it actually is. I think that we're going to, for some time, have to recognize that these people are going to genuinely continue killing each other until Jesus himself returns. I mean, the descendants of Isaac and Ishmael don't particularly care for each other. And that's not going to change. The only thing that's going to happen is détente. For those of you who don't know the story, it's captured in the book of Genesis. Abraham is the father of many nations, and he had two sons. One was born with the maid Hagar. His name was Ishmael, the older of the two sons. And in advanced life, his actual wife Sarah became pregnant, and he gave birth to Isaac. And Sarah, the mother, grew a little bit concerned and stressed and didn't like that Hagar, the Egyptian, had given birth to Ishmael, and now she had a son of her own who she wanted to be the heir, and she said to Abraham, get rid of the slave woman and her son, for that woman's son will never share in the inheritance of my son Isaac. The matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son, but God said to him, do not be distressed about the boy and your slave woman. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it's through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. I will make the son of the slave into a nation also, because he is your offspring. It is traditional accounts that Abraham's sons Isaac and Ishmael become the Muslims and the Jews. The Arab tribes descend from Ishmael, and the Jews from Isaac, and there is enmity between them to this day, and you're not going to get peace in the Middle East. Peace in the Middle East is a canard that every president chases. To his credit, Donald Trump has done a better job than any other president bringing peace to the Middle East. We have the Abraham Accords, named after Father Abraham, bringing the descendants of Ishmael and the descendants of Isaac together for peace. We have the bombing of the nuclear facilities in Iran, and the president coming out and saying there's going to be peace now, there's going to be peace, and there's peace. But what of the grifters? Now, again, I want to be very clear with you here. There's going to be more violence, and there's going to be more fighting, and Iran is going to do something. But we were promised World War III by Tucker Carlson. Where is World War III? We were promised World War III by Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene said it's going to be World War III. We were promised $30 gasoline. Where's the $30 gasoline? The only thing Tucker Carlson has gotten right in this whole mess is the population of Iran. In March, Tucker Carlson tweeted out, "It's worth pointing out that a strike on the Iranian nuclear sites will almost certainly result in thousands of American deaths at bases throughout the Middle East and cost the United States tens of billions of dollars. The cost of future acts of terrorism on American soil may be even higher. Those are the Pentagon's own estimates. A bombing campaign against Iran will set off a war, and it will be America's war." And he ended by saying, "Don't let the propagandists lie to you." Do y'all know what three-card Monte is? It's the street hustler who has the three cards and he wants you to find the ace and he moves them around fast. Or it's the cups and you got the ball in the cup and he moves them very fast and you got to find the cup with the ball in it. And what you don't realize is you're being played and that ball has been taken out of all the cups. You're not going to find it. You're going to give your money to him. It's a hustle. It's a grift. Tucker Carlson has spent his career these last few years undermining every bit of American intelligence, every bit of Pentagon bureaucracy, every expert. No expert tells the truth except the ones who are featured on Tucker Carlson's Twitter show. Daryl Cooper, the Nazi, Hitler is good, Churchill is bad. He's Tucker Carlson's favorite historian. Believe that guy. Don't believe the actual historians. Believe that guy. Don't believe the experts because the experts are wrong. Look at COVID. And what does Tucker Carlson do? This is his three-card Monte here. He tells you don't believe the experts. He tells you they get it all wrong. The deep state is bad. The bureaucracy is wrong. The geniuses who start wars never get it right. And then he says the cost of future acts of terrorism on American soil may be higher. A bombing campaign against Israel will set off a war. A strike on Iranian nuclear sites will result in thousands of American deaths at bases through the Middle East and cost the U.S. tens of billions of dollars. Don't believe me. That's the Pentagon's own efforts. You see him shuffling the cards around now. Pay no attention to the fact that Tucker Carlson on a regular basis tells you you can't believe the Pentagon. And then what does he do? He uses a Pentagon estimate that was done a while back, well before Israel began to wage war on Iran. We had 10 days of Israel taking out Iran's weapons, taking out Iran's military leadership, taking out Iran's telecommunications grids, taking out Iran's means of communication within the military, taking out Iran's missiles, taking out Iran's launch facilities, taking out Iran's weapons depots. 10 days of that before we drop those bombs. Pay no attention to that, though. For the one time in his life, Tucker Carlson wanted you to pay attention to the experts at the Pentagon, who he regularly tells you lie to you, because he's shuffling the cards in a three-card Monte. Don't be distracted by the fact that he's quoting the experts he regularly discredits, and he's using the old data, so now he can come back to you today and say, "Oh, those Pentagon guys were wrong. I trusted the Pentagon." Well, yeah, because you used an old estimate before the Israelis did anything, you grifter. Candace Owens is out declaring Prime Minister Netanyahu, be careful here, she's shuffling the cards in her three-card Monte. She says the Prime Minister of Israel is as bad as her high school teachers told her Hitler was. You got it? Her high school teachers told her Hitler was bad. Turns out Benjamin Netanyahu is Hitler. Hitler was actually not bad. She wants regime change in Israel. She's calling for regime change in Israel. So is Daryl Cooper, and Tucker Carlson's favorite historian. Steve Bannon got used as a prop by the president. He goes into the White House. The president releases a statement after their meeting saying, "I'm going to give him 2 weeks to figure something out." Turns out he already came up with the 2-week statement before he met with Bannon. Bannon got used as a prop. Bannon's anti-war. Bannon's anti-Israel, anti-interventionist. Some guy named Dave Smith wants Donald Trump impeached. People on the internet apparently care about that guy. Ben Rhodes is out there crying. Marjorie Taylor Greene is really upset. She finally decided, because she wants to run for governor of Georgia, she needed to separate herself from the president and show that she is her own woman. She declares herself the MAGA base. She declares that she knows what the base wants, and the base does not want to help the Jews. And the president should not help. The president should stay out of the way. This is going to bring about World War III. She's wrong. She decided finally to put distance between herself and the president on an issue where 80% of the public has the president's back. Matt Gaetz also came out and slurred the Jews in Israel. We couldn't understand what he was saying, though, from all the Botox. the tips of the horseshoe have gotten really full of the isolationists, the anti-Americans, the blame America first crowd, and now they're blaming America first. The agenda from the president, not just America itself. They don't seem to like the United States. They seem to not care that China, North Korea, Russia regularly infiltrate our telecom networks. They regularly infiltrate our defense industrial complex. They regularly infiltrate corporate and civilian communications. They've tried to tap into our water supply and our power grid. They're already fighting with us. And that's the thing about Iran. Iran is at war with us. We haven't declared war on Iran, but Iran's been fighting us. These people are like, oh my God, the sleeper cells could get us. Why are there sleeper cells in the United States? Says Iran is not at war with the United States. And how did they get here, Mr. Open Borders? How did the sleeper cells get here? They want to, if the sleeper cells do something, they're going to be, it's Trump's fault. It's Trump. See, we told you so. Pay no attention to the fact that the sleeper cells were here before we dropped the bombs on Iran. It's the 3-card Monty. It's the shuffle of the cards. Don't get distracted by the cards. Pay attention to the hustle. It is a hustle, and I guarantee you some of them hope Iran does something to us. Some of them, I guarantee you hope that American soldiers, maybe American civilians die so they can say, I told you so. So they can say they were right. So they can be redeemed in the eyes of those who have paid for their subscriptions and given them money. They need to be right here because they said it was going to be World War III. They said it was going to be a mass casualty event. They said soldiers would die, civilians would die, Russia would get involved. They need something so they can not have to admit they were wrong, and they're not going to admit they were wrong. Don't let the propagandists lie to you. One of the few things Tucker Carlson was right about. That and the population of Iran.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1220 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Heads up for a stall in the right lane into Cobb County over on the east side perimeter. 285 northbound, the outer loop at I-20 exit 46. Slowing the ride back toward Flat Shoals. If you're traveling 316 westbound through Lawrenceville, you're going to run into a jam approaching Highway 120 Duluth Highway. Construction blocking a lane there, causing those delays. And right lane construction, Beaufort Spring Connector, northbound ramp to I-85 north coming out of Midtown. Traffic brought to you by the 2025 FIFA World Cup. The 2025 FIFA World Cup is coming to Atlanta. Get ready for a global soccer showdown at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Don't just watch history, be there. Get tickets at FIFA.com/tickets. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
You're by the pool.
You're relaxing.
You're sipping a drink.
Someone brings you a towel.
Adjust the umbrella.
Sound like a fantasy?
It's not if you win $1,000 from WSB.
$1,000 Thursdays begins this Thursday.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBRadio.com or the WSB app within that hour, and you could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBRadio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays
from 95.5 WSB.
Where Atlanta wins.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Are you looking for trustworthy automotive service for your European vehicle? Well, look no further than Rocco's European Garage. This is Rocco, and my brothers and I built this company by prioritizing honest, clear, upfront, and all-in pricing that is approved by you prior to us beginning work. We offer a 3-day appointment window to get you back on the road quicker and shuttle service for more convenience. So next time your check engine light comes on your Mercedes or BMW, Porsche, Land Rover, or Audi, get honest auto repair or maintenance at Rocco's European Garage.
With thousands of 5-star reviews, it's no wonder CertaPro Painters is Greater Atlanta's most preferred painting company. Hear from one of their happy customers.
We wanted to add some color to our walls, so we hired CertaPro. We had built-in shelves that were supposed to be ready to paint when they got there, which they were not. CertaPro spent hours caulking and sanding to make sure the job was done right. It's rare to find a crew with integrity who really take pride in their work.
When choosing a painting professional, choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your Virtual Imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
877-973-7425.
Friends, I want to spend one moment here on Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia. She parted ways with Donald Trump on bombing Iran. She went on, I think it was Steve Bannon show, and promised that this would bring about World War III, and that we were only doing this for the Jews in Israel anyway. This was all about Israel. In fact, this is the talking point of the people who don't want to say they're anti-Semitic, but they are, that we were just doing this for Israel. No, actually, Donald Trump has for 20 years said Iran can't get a nuclear weapon. They were getting close, so he took them out, took out their nuclear capacity. The president, by the way, has said today he wants no regime change in Iran. He does not want regime change in Iran. He just wants them to not have nuclear weapons. This was in the show notes. If you text DATA to 33777 and subscribe, Trump says, quote, "I don't want to see regime change in Iran. It creates chaos. They will not possess nuclear weapons. That's the last thing on their minds right now." My suspicion is that what is on Marjorie Taylor Greene's mind is those Jewish space lasers again. You know, apparently the Jews have space lasers. And the laser beams, not on sharks, but in outer space. Sharks with laser beams would be actually really cool. The Jews could probably do that too. Nonetheless, the Jewish space lasers, you remember they started wildfires in California? It was the Jews who were to blame for the wildfires in California with their Jewish space lasers. The Jewish space lasers, they're out there somewhere. And I suspect Marjorie Taylor Greene actually thinks that we didn't need to drop our bunker busters on Iran because the Jews had space lasers, and if they really cared that much, they could have shot the space lasers at Iran. She has seen Rogue One. She knows what those Jews are capable of. Just this woman, you want to part ways with the president to show you're your own woman, and you pick like an issue that 80% of Americans, even Nancy Pelosi, supports. Nancy Pelosi today said there will be no impeachment of Donald Trump over this because Iran can't get nukes. That was Nancy Pelosi to the right of Marjorie Taylor Greene on something. Now, friends, I want to tell you about Old Glory Bank, my bank. I love them. You will too. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. They've given me that, and you should go flood their website just as a favor to me. Go to OldGloryBank.com/Eric. But when you get there, you'll be amazed. You can get great checking, great savings, great business accounts. You can do mortgages, anything you need. They are a real massive bank now, $200 million in deposits and growing. I think they're actually at 225, something like that. It's an incredible operation, started by conservatives for conservatives to battle the debanking trends out there, where progressives were pushing big banks to shut down the accounts of conservatives and conservative businesses. You'll be protected by Old Glory Bank. They put your freedom ahead of anything they are concerned with because they believe in your freedom to bank. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. If you're a veteran or first responder, you get great benefits from them. If you're a kid, need a custodial account, OldGloryBank.com/Eric. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply. And yes, it really is my bank.
Buying a new car? Need help fixing your current car? What's the safest car for a first-time buyer? The Car Guys have the answer. Join Shelley Winter and automotive expert Kevin Deutsch this and every Saturday at 12 for all your car needs. The Car Guys, presented by Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, Saturdays at noon on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios. News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. We could have a record high today. Highs around 98.
The humidity will make it feel more like 100 to 105. Not much of a cool down tonight, lows in the mid-70s, and that's going to set us up for another hot day tomorrow with a high of 97. The only relief will be a few thunderstorms developing late in the afternoon through the evening hours.
And we already have 91 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. It feels like 95 when you factor in the humidity. WSB meteorologist Christine Edwards says a heat advisory going into effect this afternoon in about 30 minutes from now. It starts at 1 o'clock. In the Middle East, a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran announced by President Trump appears to be holding despite some military exchanges overnight. And nearly a dozen Iranian nationals picked up by U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement in the past few days. ICE saying the group includes an individual with admitted ties to Hezbollah, a known or suspected terrorist, and an alleged former sniper for the Iranian army. Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Skagna has more.
The Department of Homeland Security activated its National Terrorism Advisory System just hours after the United States attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities Sunday. Intelligence officials tell CBS News that one big concern is homegrown extremism.
And did you hear about this? In France, police say 145 people who were attending a music festival were pricked by something that could have been a syringe. Police say it's not clear if there was anything in the device, but police have arrested more than a dozen people in connection with the incident. The racketeering and sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs wrapping up soon. The defense is not planning to call any witnesses, and the prosecution expected to rest its case today. We'll be watching. A new report shows more Georgia homeowners are falling behind on their payments.
Intercontinental Exchange looked at mortgage delinquencies, and its initial report for May shows that nearly 1 1/3% of Georgia mortgages were 90 days or more delinquent. That put the state behind only Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi.
That's Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti. She says overall delinquencies did slip last month, but are still higher than they were this time last year. It's 12:32.
Motorcycle riders know that a distracted driver can knock you down. It's nice to know that Steel Horse Law can pick you back up. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. In the worst possible scenario, when someone causes you to lay your bike down, Steel Horse Law will get you the best possible settlement. Their name strikes fear in the heart of big insurance companies because Steel Horse Law is respected and will make them pay. Visit steelhorselaw.com.
Septic systems are not a do-it-yourself project. You need an expert. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic. We're Dave Baker's septic experts on the Home Fix-It Show. My licensed and insured team specialize in solving your septic problems on the spot.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic, where there is never a pump-out charge with your repair. Details online.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. When markets get rocky, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president and founder of Nicholas Wealth Management. Times like these demand action and a plan you can trust. That's why we rely on our trademark Retire Ready Bucket strategy. This strategy is designed to place a percentage of your portfolio into lower risk, income producing income bucket, aiming to generate steady cash flow for the first 10 to 15 years of retirement. Meanwhile, your growth bucket is filled with dividend and growth stocks, which has time to recover when markets are going crazy. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a time to sit down with our team to review your plan. This strategy was crafted by experience. It's battle tested, and it's how you aim to keep your retirement on track even when the markets are not. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we're prepared. Are you? Don't wait for the next headline to shake your confidence. Call Nicholas Wealth today, 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management. Retire ready.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Neither the information nor any opinion expressed is to be construed as solicitation to buy or sell a security or personalized investment, tax, or legal advice.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Stall still in the right lane, 285 northbound, the outer loop into Cab at I-20 exit 46. And now we got a crash in Snellville, Highway 78 at around Abington Drive, Hickory Station Drive. Westbound lanes are blocked, only a right lane open eastbound, so plan your alternate routes. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, potentially the hottest day so far this year with a high of 98.
More news at 1 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
This is Eric Erickson here. Across the United States of America, the full number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be happy to have you. As always, don't forget, if you text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, a great deal more. Now, I want to go to Eric, who spells his name correctly, in Edgewater, Florida. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm seeing more with a K, though, lately, tell you the truth.
Well, you know, so you're CK, right?
I'm with C.
Oh, Charlie spelled
CK.
it CK. I thought, oh, well, then never mind.
Mine is spelled correctly.
You're one of those.
Yes. You're having great content, and I'm feeling a little relieved as an American. I'm 60 years old. I was in high school when we had an appeaser, Jimmy Carter, 444 days of U.S. hostages. The U.S. Navy had to escort tankers through the Straits of Hormuz. And then in October of 1983, I lost a good friend, Lance Corporal Thomas J. Stowe. He was in a Marine Corps barracks. And that was finally enough. There was a new sheriff. Ronald Reagan sent the USS New Jersey to lob Volkswagens into Beirut. You didn't hear any terrorism for 3 presidents until... then all of a sudden, here comes the appeaser, the USS Stark. We did have a war, but that wasn't Iran. You didn't hear anything. And along your points of these experts and their predictions, the first Gulf War, I plainly remember Al Gore and other experts predicting we're ordered 300,000 body bags. Yeah, for the Iraqis. Your take.
Yeah, listen, I appreciate it. My apologies for your parents not putting the C and the K together on the end. But yes, listen, so my family, we grew up in the Middle East. I was raised in Dubai. Charlie and Philip can laugh at me reminding people of that. But my parents would entertain the Fifth Fleet when they came in to dry docks. And Dubai at the time in the 1980s had the only dry docks in the area. Even though they were technically based in Bahrain, they'd come to Dubai. We were there and for months on end entertained the Samuel B. Roberts enlisted crew because they had hit a mine in the Persian Gulf that the Iranians had put out there. My dad's platform one time had to be evacuated. He was offshore, had to be evacuated because the Iranians started blowing up the American oil platforms. We've been at war with Iran for a very long time, and just because we don't use the word war when we talk about them, they've been at war with us. They've been killing Americans since the early 1980s, since the Beirut bombing in 1983. Iran has been killing thousands of Americans. How is it they have sleeper cells in this country? Remember, last month, 0 border crossings. For the first time in a March in the last 5 years, 0 border crossings. So when did the sleeper cells from Iran arrive? I just can someone tell me when the sleeper cells arrived from Iran because they were here? They were here well beforehand. By the way, you should know, according to Griff Jenkins and others, the Department of Homeland Security has announced the detention of a number of people tied to Iran. In fact, over the weekend, ICE arrested 11 Iranian nationals illegally under the United States. Department of Homeland Security has identified and arrested known or suspected terrorists. How did they get here? When did they get here? I assure you they didn't come since Saturday. They weren't here since Saturday. That raises a larger point, and let me just get your attention here for a moment. Let me talk to you. There are people on social media, on YouTube, on TV to a degree, but people who have built up followings, and they're trying to scare you. Think about the rise of conspiracy theories. There are people who have sold themselves as being able to navigate through the lies of the deep state or what have you. And think about what they sell. All of them have a common trait. And the trait is, in every single case, it's worse than you know. It's not better than you know. It's not better than you expect. It's always worse. And if you will just stick with them, they will reveal to you just how bad it is. And they keep you in an existential sense of terror. I want to go back. Remember the boat that hit the bridge outside Baltimore and collapsed the giant bridge in Baltimore? Remember that? What was the first reaction of so many people? It must be terrorism. Now, go back. Number of years ago in Minnesota, a bridge collapsed. An interstate bridge collapsed in the middle of rush hour, killed a number of people. No one's immediate reaction was, oh, it must be terrorism. And it was after, and I point to that example and specifically because it was after the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, because a lot of this stuff, a lot of people blame the war in Iraq and Afghanistan for breaking people mentally, seeding people with fear, but that's not really it. No, what's happened is in the last decade or so, people have gotten monetized on social media, and they've tried to figure out what works. And what works is very similar to the media. What's the old adage from the press? If it bleeds, it leads. If it bleeds, it leads. In the mainstream media, on the local newscasts, on the front page of the local newspaper, if there was a mass shooting, if there was a shooting at a local gas station or something, that's going to be, the crime stories are going to be one of the top stories, because if it bleeds, it leads. Because people are tuning in. They have a sense something's not right, and they're looking for affirmation that something's not right. When the bridge collapsed in Minnesota, no one rushed to say, terrorism. But when the boat hit the bridge in Baltimore, the immediate reaction from a lot of people was, it's got to be terrorism. People online were like, this boat was chartered from Indonesia. The percentage of people in Indonesia who are Muslim or this, and the clear connection was, it must have been an intentional thing. It turns out it was a mechanical failure of the boat. The boat had not been serviced mechanically well. It lost power and went into the column and collapsed the bridge. But the people on the internet were convinced because they needed you in an existential sense of dread and fear. Because if you're in an existential dread and fear, you're going to keep coming back for more, because they tell you they will keep you safe. They have the answers. The scales will fall from your eyes. Now, I guess I'm a bad businessman because I can't bring myself to do that. I can't conjure the conspiracy every day and tie it all together for you and build crazy. But there are vulnerable people in the world now, particularly we live in such an isolated world now where people aren't on a daily basis. They're not regularly in church. Even the churchgoers aren't in church all the time. Maybe you're in an office, you might be working from home, you're in your car, maybe you're with your family, but you don't have immediate friends who are coming to your house regularly. And so you're tuning into these people who are telling you that they're gonna guide you through a terrible world where everything is bad, the experts are wrong, the deep state is bad, the bureaucracy is out to get you, and the whole time they're doing a 3-card Monty on you. It's verbal. It's emotion-based. It plays to your reception that there's something wrong with the world. Well, there is something wrong with the world. We live in a fallen world. So yes, they're right. There's something wrong in the world. But they take we live in a fallen world and amplify it to dramatic proportions to cause you anxiety. And we're at a point now where so many people are listening to so many of these voices that no longer can bad things just happen. It must be a terrorist event. It must be a conspiracy. It must be a plot. It can't just be a bad thing. But you know what? Bad things have always happened. One of the first major recorded tragedies of the 20th century. Does anybody know what that was? It was a global sensational headline complete with audio and video. Does anybody know what it was? The Hindenburg. Well before any of our time. But it was a live broadcast, the Hindenburg coming from Germany. It hitched to the pole that the airships, the Zeppelins hitched to. There was a static electricity spark. The Zeppelin was filled with hydrogen. It began to explode. Oh, the humanity! Oh, the humanity! The man began to cry as it exploded. People were jumping from this airship, and there was video of it. There was audio of it. You know, the broadcaster lost his job. Very famously, he became so overwhelmed with emotion, was broadcasting, screaming, oh, the humanity, lost his job. No one at the time looked at that, even with tensions rising with Germany, said, oh, it's a conspiracy. Today, you know they would. And they would because the people on the internet have monetized their accounts in such a way to lure you in so they can feed you the conspiracies because they've gained your trust, and they're doing a 3-card Monty hustle on you. And you're thinking, Erickson, is that what you do? No, look, I get hate mail all the time because I don't do it. Some of you would prefer that I do it. I'm dismissive of the conspiracy theories, and I get hate mail all the time from people saying, you don't really see it. Oh, you rube, you gullible rube, you don't see. Think about all the emotional investment in Jeffrey Epstein hanged himself, which I was totally willing to believe that someone else hanged Jeffrey Epstein, but Kash Patel and Dan Bongino both believed there was a conspiracy. Now they're at the FBI. They've seen the evidence. They've seen footage, and they're like, it turns out he hanged himself. And there are still people who got so emotionally invested in Jeffrey Epstein didn't hang himself that, well, now they've decided that the conspiracy goes all the way up to God himself because they listened to the voices on the internet who strung the strings together, tied everything off in nice little bows, and led you to believe actually it's not that life is messy and complicated, it's that there's a conspiracy behind the scenes. And if you understand the conspiracy behind the scenes, you'll see how tidy and neat it is. No, life is messy, and you all know that. And sometimes bad things happen. And like in the Iran thing, if we bomb Iran, there's going to be World War III. There's going to be a nuclear war. The Russians are going to engage. The Chinese are going to engage. Americans are going to die. They needed you to be whipped into this existential frenzy. They needed you to be scared. They needed you to be worked up into terrors about it. Because if you were, you tuned back to them. And their accounts are monetized. And they make a lot of money making you scared and fearful of what's happening in the world. And now some of you have gotten so used to it that when any bad thing happens, your first thought is not, oh, that's a tragedy. It's that there's a conspiracy. This couldn't have been by accident. Sometimes it is. And I would just say strongly, a lot of people need deprogramming. But they want you programmed in existential terror so you come back for more because they make you feel safe, they make you feel knowledgeable, and they get rich off of it. And the irony here with the Iran thing is that a lot of the people who were in that boat are the people who thought they made Donald Trump. They thought it was them who caused the rise of Donald Trump, and but for them, he would never have gotten to where he got. And the reality is, Trump made them a lot of money. It's like Pinocchio thinking he pulled Geppetto's strings. Actually, Trump pulled his own strings, and he pulled their strings too. And they didn't know it. They thought the puppet was always Donald Trump. And they are just conspiracy theorists getting rich and profiting off of making you scared about everything. Americans for Prosperity fights against conspiracies as well. They fight for common sense conservative reforms, and they fight across the 50 states down to the local level. They fight in city governments. They fight in state capitals. They fight in Congress for common sense conservative reforms like school choice and common sense business regulation and deregulation and tax common sense. And right now, they're fighting for the president's tax cut plan, and they'd love to get you on board at protectprosperity.com. If you go to protectprosperity.com, Americans for Prosperity can get you in touch with your member of the Senate and encourage them to get common sense tax reform passed. They would love to have you engaged. They would love to have you involved. All you have to do is go to protectprosperity.com. That's protectprosperity.com. Americans for Prosperity is the largest leading grassroots group in the country. They happen to be on our side fighting for common sense conservatism. And they would love to get you in the fight. They'd love to get you in touch with your senator so that you can give them a piece of your mind about the tax bill. All you have to do is go to protectprosperity.com. That is, one more time, protectprosperity.com by our friends at Americans for Prosperity.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Erick Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still watching this stalled big rig that's knocking out the right lane over there in the southeast part of the perimeter in DeKalb County, 285 northbound. The outer loop right at I-20 exit 46. You're slow before Flat Shoals. The 285 ramps in Cobb County right there next to Truist Park have gotten pretty slow ramping onto I-75 northbound. We're going to check on some new trouble there. And still got the crash out in Snellville, Highway 78 near Grayson Parkway, just west of Grayson Parkway, blocking some left lanes. Traffic brought to you by Stone Mountain Park. See the same exact fireworks show July 1st to the 7th at Stone Mountain Park. All new fire drones plus the light show and fireworks finale. Tickets at stonemountainpark.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. So I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Every year for the 4th of July, my family invites over friends, and I get a big box of burgers and Franks from Omaha Steaks, and we grill out. It's going to be the same this year. Right now, for the 4th of July sale, you can get 50% off site-wide at Omaha Steaks. Just like me, I don't get a special. I take the discount as well, and you can use the promo code ERIC at checkout and get an extra $45 off. So it's already 50% off site-wide, and then you put in ERIC as your promo code, and you get $45 extra off, minimum order required. You get unparalleled quality from Omaha Steaks. It's deliciousness. Get the burgers, get the gourmet jumbo franks. You can get the sides, everything you need. You can even get steaks. We do this every year. It's become a family tradition. Start your own family tradition with Omaha Steaks. Again, 50% off site-wide right now. And if you go to omahasteaks.com with the 50% off site-wide, you get an extra $45 off if you use ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, at checkout. omahasteaks.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing, the honest plumber. Like me, Superior Plumbing has been doing business for more than 40 years. Trust me, to last that long takes dedication to doing the job right and building trust with your customer base. I've used Superior Plumbing for years, and owner Jay Cunningham is committed to making you a customer for life, too. Next time you need a plumber, visit thehonestplumber.com.
The big focus in America today is on your health, and more people looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. Hey, it's Mark Aaron for QC Kinetics. At QC Kinetics, they've been on the cutting edge of this medical revolution since 2018. Using regenerative medicine, they have helped tens of thousands of people get lasting joint pain relief using natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power. The truth is, regenerative medicine used to be an alternative treatment. Now it's mainstream, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader. They're well-respected protocols include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments to revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. They're not masking the pain. They're going after the very source of it. Yes, you can say goodbye to that chronic pain and live your best life. Learn more about this revolutionary treatment and get a free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now. 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Greetings, welcome. It is Eric Erickson. This hour of the program is brought to you by First Liberty Building and Loan. If you're growing your business, reach out to First Liberty at firstlibertyga.com. Tell them I sent you. Now listen, any business in the United States, we just picked up Buffalo, New York. If you're in Buffalo and you're growing your business, you're buying a franchise, you need heavy equipment, $75,000 or more for heavy equipment, $250,000 or more for a franchise, reach out to First Liberty Building and Loan. Yeah, they're in Georgia, but they already do business with businesses in Buffalo. So reach out to them, firstlibertyga.com, see if they can help you. Now, I want to turn to my favorite nerd on television, Harry Enton.
Yeah, I think there's this idea, okay, maybe the MAGA base wouldn't necessarily like this. Look, this is Donald Trump's Republican Party. That's what I think is so important to note. GOP on the U.S. airstrikes in Iran, 76% in the average of the two polls approve, compared to just 18% who disapprove. Now, I will note that is a bit higher than Donald Trump's disapproval rating within the Republican Party. But overall, Republicans are with Donald Trump on this. Tucker Carlson be darned. The bottom line is he does not speak for the majority of the Republican base. The majority of the Republican base is with Donald Trump.
But it's not just the majority of the Republican base, the majority of the American public is too. Nancy Pelosi, when asked about Al Green and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez proposing impeachment of Donald Trump, says absolutely not. Nancy Pelosi, who hates Donald Trump, says no because Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon. Nancy Pelosi does not want to impeach Donald Trump. That supposed comedian Dave Smith wants to impeach Donald Trump. Candace Owens wants to impeach Donald Trump. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wants to impeach Donald Trump. Al Green wants to impeach Donald Trump. Nancy Pelosi's like, nah, Iran can't get a nuke. When you've got Nancy Pelosi aligned with Donald Trump, America is aligned with Donald Trump on that issue. Not because Nancy Pelosi represents America, but because Nancy Pelosi represents the far left, but just not as far left as the nut jobs. She's a reliable progressive, and even the reliable progressives, what's notable is not the few Democratic members of Congress who have come forward and condemned the president. It's the vast majority of them have not. And some of them, like Amy Klobuchar in Minnesota, have come forward and said, Iran can't get a nuke. Nancy Pelosi, Iran can't get a nuke. It's just weird watching some of these people like decide to stand with the 15 to 20% crowd. Whether it's the deportation issue or the Iran issue, see, it's a weird amalgamation. And the horseshoe theory is real. That the far left and the far right, at some point, they're mirror images of each other. It's the progressive left and the progressive right. We've got real clarity on who the progressives are on the left and the right. Progressivism isn't just on the left, it's on the right. The wokes, they're on the left and the right, and they're exposing themselves. They're revealing themselves. Now, when we come back, we got to switch to the home front. The Supreme Court has given Donald Trump a massive win, and a district court judge is furious about it in Massachusetts and ignoring the Supreme Court. Where is the media outrage about the district court avoiding the Supreme Court? We were told that was a constitutional crisis, and yet it's happening.
I'm Chris Chandler. When Atlanta's Morning News starts at 5 Wednesday, breaking U.S.-Iran developments and tracking heat index readings into the triple digits on WSB.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a phone on us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. A heat advisory is now in effect for Metro Atlanta.
It's summer. It's supposed to be hot, but to put this into perspective for you, today's forecast high is 98. That's trending about 10 degrees above average for today, and it's close to the record high of 99 set on this day back in 1988.
WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says the heat index could reach 100 to 105 here today. By the way, the temperature in New York City has now reached 100 degrees as the eastern U.S. swelters under this extreme heat wave that we're having. President Trump says that a ceasefire between Israel and Iran is holding after Israel accused Tehran of firing missiles on Israel. The Iranian military has denied firing the missiles, which Israel says were intercepted. The Israelis say they held off on a strike against Iran after speaking to the president. Meanwhile, the president is taking part in a NATO summit in the Netherlands this week. Olivia Rinaldi has more.
As far as overshadowing the NATO summit, it might not overshadow, but it's certainly something else that they're going to have to consider when talking about achieving peace in this region. The main focus of this summit, of course, is going to be Russia's war of aggression in Ukraine and how to get that to an end. And this is certainly just another consideration.
And be sure and check back for updates. We'll be watching the situation, of course, in the Middle East. We do expect to hear from the Atlanta Police Department later this hour on the arrest of 4 suspects in what they're calling a hate crime in Midtown Atlanta. Here's what we know so far.
The vandalism is reported near the area's famous Rainbow Crosswalk at 10th and Piedmont. Officers discover a group recording themselves cutting pride flags outside Blake's on the Park while doing scooter stunts in the street. A witness calls 911 and officers track down 4 of the 6 suspects. 2 speed away. Those captured are facing several charges, including obstruction and criminal damage to property, as well as a pending hate crime charge. 3 of the suspects are in their late teens. The youngest is 16. Officers cite his father for failing to supervise his son. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
All right, do you have a home in Fulton County that you own? Well, you're being urged to check your 2025 property tax assessment online. The county is saying that they have mailed out the notices, but given reports of delayed mail delivery recently, the county says it might be a good idea for you to look online. By law, you have 45 days to appeal. That deadline is August 1st. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 484 at 43,077, so the Dow's up more than a full percent. NASDAQ's up more than 1.5%, and the S&P is in positive territory, up more than 1%. It's 102.
It's Eric, and one of the questions I get asked all the time is, Erickson, where do I get a computer? I don't want to worry about the setup and all the tech support stuff. Y'all, you go to Vision Computers. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Listen, when you call Vision, you're not getting stuck in a maze of hold music or menus. They answer the phone 15 seconds on average. That's right, 15 seconds. Real people, real help, real fast, right when you need it. And here's the part I love. You got an older computer. You got programs you rely on. Maybe QuickBooks or a niche software for your small business. You're afraid a new computer means losing it all or spending days doing transfers. Vision Computers got you covered. As long as your software is supported in Windows 11, they can move all your programs from your old computer to the new one efficiently, safely, and fast. It's like handing off all the hassle to someone who's an expert and knows what they're doing. So if you're thinking your old computer is fine but slowing down, maybe time for a new one. Call 404-COMPUTE today. That's 404-COMPUTE. Let Vision Computers take care of everything. You're never going to want to buy a computer another way.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Is your summer vacation going to be a week at the beach or a week in the backyard standing in the kiddie pool?
If you listen to 95.5 WSB, that week at the beach could be yours. It's $1,000 Thursdays on WSB.
Your chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Thursdays.
Listen for the keyword. Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app within that hour.
Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays, beginning this Thursday.
From 95.5 WSB.
Where Atlanta wins.
It's 1:05. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at your roads.
Big mess in Cobb County, right next to the home of the Braves. Got a nasty crash. It's been blocking the 285 north or eastbound inner loop ramp to I-75 northbound. Also the left lane of the 285 westbound outer loop ramp. They just opened the left lane of the northbound inner loop ramp, but it's stacked up the ride back before South Atlanta Road. Use Cobb Parkway as an alternate. Stalled big rig still in the right lane into cab. 285 north, the outer loop at I-20 exit 46. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today. Potentially the hottest day so far this year. High 98. The heat index value is closer to 100 to 105. Lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, another hot afternoon. High 97. Watching for scattered showers and thunderstorms late in the afternoon through the evening hours.
Right now in Midtown Atlanta, we have 92 degrees. You factor in the heat and the humidity. The feels like temperature is 96 right now. More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. Welcome. Glad to have you with me. Phone number is 877-973-7425. We must move to the home front. We must discuss the Supreme Court and the meltdown over its decision last night. I want to just begin with Ian Millhauser, who is one of the whiniest progressive little ninnies in America. He's always lighting his hair on fire over the conservatives on the Supreme Court. The guy really is a basket case. He's basically a neurotic progressive white woman, except he hasn't recognized that yet. He still goes by masculine. The guy is just, good Lord. In a short one-paragraph order, the Republican justices ruled on Monday evening that President Donald Trump may effectively nullify a federal law and an international treaty that is supposed to protect immigrants from torture. The court's order in Department of Homeland Security versus DVD does not explain the GOP justices' reasoning, although Justice Sonia Sotomayor responds to their silent decision in a 19-page dissent, joined by her two Democratic colleagues.
The court's order is only temporary and will permit Trump to send immigrants to countries where they may be tortured while the DVD case is fully litigated. It is possible that one or more of the court's Republicans could reverse course at a later date, but it is hard to know what arguments might persuade them to do so, because the justices in the majority did not explain why they decided this case the way they did. He literally entitled the piece, "The conservative Supreme Court just stripped thousands of immigrants of their right to due process." Notice he says the Republicans. This guy willfully tries to, with the Republican majority, try to undermine it and discredit the Supreme Court. He's one of those progressives that works very hard to discredit the Supreme Court when he doesn't like their decisions. And when he does like their decisions, he always writes, and I can't believe these idiots got something right for once. What did the United States Supreme Court actually do? The United States Supreme Court said that the President of the United States is allowed to deport individuals from this country to other countries. It had been stayed by a federal judge in Massachusetts, and the Supreme Court said, nope, you can't. You can't do it. This is the Wall Street Journal write-up. The Supreme Court on Monday cleared the way for the Trump administration to swiftly deport certain migrants to countries they aren't from. The court's conservative majority stayed a lower court order that said individuals set to be deported to third countries must be given meaningful notice of their intended destination, allowing them time to raise objections. The Trump administration, which asked the Supreme Court to intervene, argued a trial judge had improperly interfered with the president's authority over foreign affairs. As is typical in emergency orders from the High Court, the majority didn't explain its reasoning. The court's three liberals dissented and accused the majority of ignoring due process requirements for migrants who may be sent to unfamiliar countries. Apparently, the court finds the idea that thousands will suffer violence in far-flung locales more palatable than the remote possibility that a district court exceeded its remedial powers when it ordered the government to provide notice and process to which the plaintiffs are constitutionally and statutorily entitled, wrote Sonia Sotomayor, joined by Elena Kagan and Ketanji Brown Jackson. The case involved a class of migrants who were facing final orders that allowed them to be removed from the U.S. The Supreme Court's order doesn't resolve questions about the Trump administration's legal obligations to the migrants, which continues to be litigated in the lower courts. But practically speaking, it could have an immediate impact, with the administration signaling it plans to move quickly. The Supreme Court blocked an order from U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy in Boston, who ruled the administration must give migrants time to raise concerns about potential persecution or fear of torture where they are being sent, with more time after that if their fears are reasonable. The ruling was put to test in May when immigration officials on short notice loaded a plane bound for South Sudan with 8 migrants, only one of whom was born there. Now, I want to say this. I actually don't think personally we should be sending illegal immigrants to countries that aren't close to their own, particularly that we shouldn't send them to foreign countries in continents separate from their own. I think if we're going to deport an illegal immigrant, send them back to their home country unless their home country didn't want them, and then you can send them somewhere else. But that's my personal opinion. My other personal opinion is I'm glad the Supreme Court intervened because the president doesn't have to do what I want. The president needs to deport these people. You see, I can have a nuanced opinion here. What my preference is send them to their home country unless their home country doesn't want them, and then get them as close as possible. What I recognize, however, is the president doesn't have to do that. That's not what the law says. And if the president wants to send them to South Sudan, send them to South Sudan. And a district court judge shouldn't be able to stop them. Now, you should know that the district court is basically saying today, I don't care what the Supreme Court says, you're not doing this. The district court in Boston, remember, it's a constitutional crisis. If the president ignores the Supreme Court, what about a district court judge? The district court judge is saying, nope. We don't care. I don't care. You can't do this. And I gotta say, I think the judge himself is attempting to create a constitutional crisis. Now, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has taken impeachment of judges off the table. Says there's no way they're going to get this impeachment through the Senate, so why waste the House's time? And he's actually right on that. They've got a limited amount of time to do a lot of stuff, but at some point, the Supreme Court's got to rebuke a judge who decides to ignore the Supreme Court. At some point, you got to do that. At the same time, I got to say, what we're seeing is the system continues to work. The Supreme Court has allowed the president to do what the president wants temporarily. Case is still being heard. But the fact that they've decided to go in this direction suggests they've decided to side with the president generally on the issue. And siding with the president generally on the issue means he's going to be able to deport a lot of people a lot more quickly. What the left decided to do was use the courts in ways the courts aren't supposed to be used. They decided to use the courts as a rearguard action to stop the president, since they don't control the Congress and they don't control the executive branch, and he's purged members of the deep state. They got to use the judges. And they found very sympathetic progressive judges. The judge involved in this was a Biden appointee in Massachusetts. And these judges slammed the brakes on everything with lots of universal injunctions. Slammed the brakes. Now, this is important because on Thursday, the Supreme Court's going to issue a batch of decisions, and we will any day now get their ruling on universal injunctions. My guess is that the Supreme Court is going to rapidly, powerfully rein in district court judges. And this judge in Boston and his behavior has something to do with it. When the local judges decide to ignore the United States Supreme Court, their Supreme Court is going to give them a comeuppance. When the district court judges don't know their place, we've had lots of progressive talk about Donald Trump not knowing his place. When the district court doesn't know its place, the district court is going to put these people in their place. The district court or the Supreme Court is going to put these people in their place. The Supreme Court is going to crack the whip on them. And it's necessary. As to deportations, the law is pretty clear. This is a major executive power. Congress outlined the parameters for deportations, who can be deported. The deportation of those is typically illegal aliens who came here without permission. The president can pretty rapidly, pretty generally deport those people, and he's going to do it. And the Supreme Court is going to let him do it. And there's not a whole lot the district judges can do except try to drag their feet. And in dragging their feet, they're just going to make the court mad. So where do we go from here? This case is still pending. You're going to have a district court resolution. It's going to go on appeal. The appeal is going to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to decide. But the Supreme Court allowing the president to go on and expedite the deportations to third world countries that are not the illegal immigrants' home is a big signal of where the Supreme Court is headed. And I got to imagine the conservative justices on the Supreme Court are frustrated with this. And I would note as well that, again, Amy Coney Barrett, despite all the propaganda against her, she was on the right side here. A lot of people hating on Amy Coney Barrett, and yet Amy Coney Barrett was with the 5 other conservative justices. And it's predictably the 3 progressives. And notice E.J. Millhauser in his meltdown didn't call them Democratic justices. They were just justices because they do what he wants. The left's not going to have a normal one here. The Supreme Court's going to come out with several major decisions in the next couple of weeks as they wind down to the end of the month. And you know, the universal injunctions case, it may actually not come out until the end of the month because of when it was heard. But when it does happen, there's going to be a real meltdown from the left, in large part because they will realize they don't control anything. They don't control the House. They don't control the Senate. They don't control the White House. And they don't control the Supreme Court. And increasingly, they don't control the court, any of the courts of appeals. There are a few they control, but very few. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is considered the most progressive court of appeals in the nation. It is the most reversed court, or at least it was. The Ninth Circuit for so long, because California, Washington, and Oregon senators exercised vetoes over the picks until Donald Trump, in his first term, got so frustrated, the Republicans said, you know what, you're not going to be able to veto these picks anymore at the circuit court level, California, Washington, and Oregon, and they started packing them with conservatives. And the court is now the Ninth Circuit's kind of evenly split. And just the other day, a Barack Obama appointee joined two Trump appointees to tell Stephen Breyer's brother Charles, a district court judge in San Francisco, that, no, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to strip the president of power to call up the National Guard. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the most progressive court, had an Obama-appointed judge side with Trump judges, didn't file a dissent, but was in the majority, a unanimous decision saying, you can't stop the president from summoning the National Guard when he wants to summon the National Guard. We're not gonna say he can do whatever he wants with them, but we're gonna say in this case, yeah, he can, and you can't stop him. When progressives continue to consistently lose at the courts of appeals, not just the Supreme Court, they're going to get even more violent. The violence is a manifestation of their frustrations. Their frustrations will turn them more violent. They feel helpless. They have no way, no sense, no ability to turn it around and turn it off. And we, on our side, are not only going to keep winning, but we're going to continue to watch the progressive left alienate themselves from normal Americans. Normal Americans don't want violence. Normal Americans don't want the insanity. Normal Americans don't want a crime wave from illegal immigrants. The left is not only siding against the president taking out Iran's nukes, they're siding with illegal immigrants.
Advisory in Cobb, the 285 north or eastbound inner loop ramp to I-75 northbound is currently shut down with a bad crash there. You're stacked up back to South Cobb Drive. Take South Cobb Drive, South Atlanta Road, or Cobb Parkway as alternates up toward Windy Hill. You can re-enter 75 north. It's also causing 285 westbound to slow coming out of Sandy Springs. And a bad crash still working in Snellville, shutting down Highway 78 westbound just west of Grayson Parkway. Traffic being rerouted there. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Save at Whole Foods Market. Get 20% off. No antibiotics ever. 80% lean ground beef with Prime through June 24th while supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
What would you do with $1,000 this summer?
Hotel, pool, week at the beach, cabin in the woods.
Whatever you want to do this summer,
WSB has $1,000 to make it happen.
$1,000 Thursdays gives you the chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app within that hour.
You could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays begins this Thursday.
From 95.5 WSB, where Atlanta wins.
When markets get rocky, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president and founder of Nicholas Wealth Management. Times like these demand action and a plan you can trust. That's why we rely on our trademark Retire Ready Bucket strategy. This strategy is designed to place a percentage of your portfolio into lower risk, income producing income bucket, aiming to generate steady cash flow for the first 10 to 15 years of retirement. Meanwhile, your growth bucket is filled with dividend and growth stocks, which has time to recover when markets are going crazy. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a time to sit down with our team to review your plan. This strategy was crafted by experience. It's battle tested, and it's how you aim to keep your retirement on track even when the markets are not. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we're prepared. Are you? Don't wait for the next headline to shake your confidence. Call Nicholas Wealth today, 678-990-8500, or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management. Retire ready.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Neither the information nor any opinion expressed is to be construed as solicitation to buy or sell a security or personalized investment, tax, or legal advice.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Select 24 packs of Corona or Modelo lagers are just $29.99 with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Must be 21 to purchase. Drink responsibly. The Kroger Co., Cincinnati, Ohio.
No one in Georgia treats more kids with cancer and blood disorders, and no one in the Southeast is doing more to advance pediatric cancer research. The Aflac Cancer and Blood Disorder Center of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta cares for thousands of patients each year and offers access to hundreds of clinical trials to kids whose survival depends on new treatment. Listen July 24th and 25th to the 25th annual 95.5 WSB Carathon and support research to find cures. Visit choa.org/carathon to make a donation today.
You know the best part about hot weather is walking into a cool, comfortable house, right? Dave Baker here for Coolray Heating and Cooling. Summer is here. Don't let HVAC problems ruin your fun. Coolray is offering up to $2,250 in rebates and free installation with the purchase of a complete home carrier system. Ready to stay cool this summer? Visit Coolray.com to book your appointment today and keep your home cool and comfortable all summer long. Coolray Carrier. Turn to the experts.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a phone on us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. 877-973-7425 is the number. What is the messiest thing that you can put in your car, and why is it a Chick-fil-A biscuit? My gosh. I got a Chick-fil-A biscuit on my way to the office. I rarely have them. They're not good for you. I'm trying to eat better. But it's been a long time since I had one in my car, and that sucker, I could literally eat lunch this afternoon off the crumbs that are all over my car. It's just gross. It's like, did you eat a biscuit, or do you have like cocaine or something? It's just little specks of biscuit dust everywhere in the car. Oh my God, it was great. It was great, but my goodness gracious, what a mess. What a mess, what a mess, what a mess. Y'all, if you go to the Fox Theater, you might be able to get some tickets for the Not Safe for Radio show. We keep opening little blocks. They keep selling out, but you should go. You should also check out the membership levels for the premium membership experiences at the Fox Theater. They've been so gracious to open their venue to me. It's going to be gorgeous. The theater is as well. You get memberships that give you access behind the scenes, discounted tickets, things like that. Go check them out, foxtheater.org, and can't wait for you guys to see me on July 12th. We've had a couple of people reach out and have said, we can't come. Can we surrender our tickets? What do we do? Don't want the money back. Want to go to charity. We're trying to accommodate those people and also make tickets available for everybody. It's kind of an overwhelming thing at this point. We've got a room that is going to be absolutely slam-packed full of people. It's going to be a great night. And all these stories that I can't tell on the radio, July 12th. So for those of you who got the tickets, remember, doors open at 6 p.m. Everybody keeps asking me, this is where I'm bad at this. People keep saying, what's the dress code? What's the dress code? You're going to the Fox. It's a nice venue. I don't know. You don't need a coat. I'm going to be wearing like khakis and a polo shirt, whatever is reciprocal. It's casual, but it's not like trash. So don't go to the Fox Theater dressed in trash, and you'll be fine. But you don't need a suit either. Now, I need to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You get 3 of them, and you save $200. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3, at EdenPureDeals.com. It's an air purifier. It gets rid of dust. It gets rid of pollen. It gets rid of 99.9% of bacteria and viruses or viri. But it also eliminates all odors. Generates ozone, latches onto odor particles, wipes out the odors. You know, when odor is an ionized particle, it touches the nerves in your nose, and it's like, process an odor. Well, the ozone latches onto it and wipes out the ionized particle, and you don't get odor. So all odors get wiped out. You can plug it up with a USB cord in your car. You can plug it up into the wall. It packs a wall up. It gets rid of bacteria and viruses as well. You get 3 of them. You save $200. So upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your travel bag, your RV, wherever you need them. They're small. You can hold it in your hand. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK, the number 3, ERIC3, at EdenPureDeals.com. You can thank me later. They really do work. I even travel with one.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. You can save time, make the most money, and eliminate the hassle this summer. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com, and start packing.
It's officially time for Zero Res's annual summer sale. Take advantage and get 15% off all cleaning services. Mention Chris Chandler to secure this deal today or book online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res. All they leave is clean.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. We are under a heat advisory right now in Metro Atlanta.
The forecast high for today is 98 degrees, which is trending about 10 degrees above average. But it's not just the temperature, it's also the humidity. The humidity prevents the sweat on your skin from evaporating. That's the process that's supposed to cool you down. But when it's too humid, then it's not going to work properly. And so the humidity makes it feel more like 100 to 105 degrees.
And WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says the heat advisory is in effect through now, through 8 p.m. tomorrow night. In the Middle East, a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran announced by President Trump appears to be holding despite some military exchanges overnight. And nearly a dozen Iranian nationals have been picked up by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the past few days. ICE saying the group includes an individual with admitted ties to Hezbollah, a known or suspected terrorist, and an alleged former sniper for the Iranian army. Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Scagna has more.
The Department of Homeland Security activated its National Terrorism Advisory System just hours after the United States attacks on Iranian nuclear facilities Sunday. Intelligence officials tell CBS News that one big concern is homegrown extremism.
Be sure and stay with us or check back often for updates on the situation there in the Middle East. Millions of student loan borrowers are at risk of losing 15% of their paychecks this summer. Allison Keys explains.
TransUnion says roughly 6 million federal student loan borrowers are 90 days or more past due now that a pandemic-era reprieve is over. Nearly a third of them could start having their wages garnished as soon as next month.
And borrowers go into default when they are 270 days past due. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow's up 463 at 43,044. So the Dow's up more than a full percent. NASDAQ's up almost 1.5%. And the S&P's up more than a full percent. It's 132.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. You can save time, make the most money, and eliminate the hassle this summer. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home and skip the hassle of constant cleaning and costly repairs. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com, and start packing.
It's time for Zero Res Air Duct Cleaning Summer Sale. Take advantage and get 15% off all cleaning services. Mention Chris Chandler to secure this deal today or book online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res, all they leave is clean.
Right now, Beaver Toyota of Cumming is loaded with fresh inventory, and they're offering huge savings, low financing, and all the Beaver benefits. See them on the web at BeaverToyotaCumming.com. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming, the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show.
Rates are up, rates are down. Every day it's something different. If you're curious about what's going on and when the best time will be to buy or refinance your home, call the experts I trust at Myland. This is Scott Slade. There's a reason the guys and gals at Myland are able to close loans that other local banks just can't. The folks at Myland are local and somebody you can trust to make sure you get the best loan for your needs at the best rate. You don't have to take my word for it. Here are lines from some recent testimonials. Myland kept me up to date and informed with every step of the way. They make you feel like you're one of the most important clients they have. Myland specializes in home financing, and they've seen it all. So whether you want to access the equity in your home to pay for other debts, buy a new home, or anything else, Myland is the place to call. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Or online, it's myland.com. Spelled it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage License C148769. Myland's located at 8995 Westside Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Myland is an equal housing lender.
Hey homeowners, it's Eric Erickson here. Do your windows and doors stick? Are you noticing cracks in the drywall or the brickwork? You might have a big problem. Serious issues need the serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, as are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
Still got this travel advisory in Cobb blocking the 285 north or eastbound interloop ramp to I-75 northbound. You're stacked up from South Cobb Drive. Use South Cobb, South Atlanta Road, or Cobb Parkway to work your way up to ramps to get onto 75 north. All lanes just blocked and reopened downtown. 75-85 northbound past University Avenue. Crash moved off to the right there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today. Potentially the hottest day so far this year with a high of 98.
More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. It is Eric Erickson here. Get the phone calls in just a minute. I want to say something some of you are going to be horrified by, I suspect, but most of you might agree with. I saw a headline this morning early. A man in Ohio who came here as a child is being deported from the United States after being arrested for crimes. They had a profile with his family. They're crying. They're in tears. He is a child. The child is upset. The whole family there, it's a wreck. It's a mess. They're so upset. The son who's turned the father, he's going to be deported. He came here as a child. His parents brought him here. He had no volition in the matter. He's going to be deported. It's so upset. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Ohio. It's Oklahoma. I was pulling up the video. It's Oklahoma. Just listen.
A mother pleading for her son to not be deported.
He's so sweet, so nice. I love my son so much.
Ton Von Podke is one of many deportations in process across America. Von Podke came to Oklahoma as a toddler in 1981, a refugee of the Laos-Vietnam War. At 19, he had been arrested, served 7 years in jail on theft and drug charges. His permanent status revoked. But he served his time and turned over a new leaf. This is him now. He has a wife, a career as an automotive technician. He's a friend. He has 2 young girls, so he's a father. He also has a legitimate visa, but his past crimes will force his deportation under the current administration.
Now, I got to tell you, it's a sad story. He's rebuilt his life in this country. He's engaged in his community. He's got a job. But he's also a felon. It's, I believe in second chances. I do. But also, maybe he shouldn't have broken the law. These are tough cases, and the thing that really frustrates me more than anything else is the lack of nuance in the situation, both from those who are processing the deportations. I mean, this guy, he did come over. He had residency in this country as a refugee from the Laotian Vietnamese conflict. He was granted residency, but then he broke the law. And when he broke the law, that all went out the window. So he became an illegal alien. He had to get a visa to stay. But his crimes can now get him deported. It's a messy situation. What I would also note is that in these situations of coverage, the media is highlighting the sob story to undermine the whole of the endeavor. So yeah, that one it's a sob story. The guy put his life back together, got out of served 7 years in prison, repented of his sins, got involved in the local community, appears to be involved in a church, has a base of friends, has a job, all of that. We can look at that and say, yeah, okay, maybe this guy, he's done what he needed to do to stay here. Now, there will be some people like, nope, illegal immigrant, get out of here. You shouldn't be here in the first place. There will be some of that. But what I find more notable is how there does appear to be a concerted effort across the United States at the national and the local level to highlight these sorts of cases to very subtly undermine and cast doubt on the whole operation of getting rid of illegal immigrants. And there are way more who should be deported for cause than this guy. Difficult case here. Perhaps an exception can be made. Perhaps someone should make an exception for a man who's now part of the community, who's moved beyond. At what point do grace and forgiveness come into this? The country gave him permission to stay in this country because of what happened in his homeland. They legitimized his claim to stay. He screwed up. It's a 19-year-old. He served his time in prison. He got out. He was able to get in the graces of the law to get a visa and stay, and now they want to deport him. Maybe he's turned his life around. He's involved in his community. He has a job. He has a family. His kids are American citizens. He's involved in his local church. We can have that conversation. But what these stories are doing is distracting from the conversations we don't need to have. What about the gangbanger? What about the Trinidad members? Remember, in Aurora, Colorado, they had taken over the apartment complex, and the national media and the Democratic Party says it's not true, and it turns out it was true. They don't want to have those conversations. They want to highlight the sad sob stories to avoid having the conversation about the rest of it. Like, for example, I mean, as I said, it is my preference that we not deport people to countries that are not their own. We should deport them back to their country unless that country didn't want them, and then get them to a country as close as possible. But we're not even talking about the illegal immigrants who are being deported to Sudan or to Nigeria or to other places. We're not talking about them or what they did. We're talking about this guy and his sob story, and it's bad and it's complicated, and maybe we should make an exception for him. But notice how they want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the absurdities of we're deporting criminal aliens to these countries. Tell us what they did. One of the people the judge has blocked from being deported is a child rapist. The judge doesn't want us to deport the child rapist. The child rapist has been in prison, served time, is on the way out of prison, and we're packing that person up and sending them abroad. We're not giving them a second chance. They're a child rapist. And the media doesn't want to talk to you about this person raped a child. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about this guy in Oklahoma. They want to highlight the sob story. They don't want to talk about the criminal. And that is a distinct editorial decision to not do that. And I just think that needs to be highlighted. Yeah, I'm sympathetic to this individual in Oklahoma. I am very sympathetic. Turned his life around, involved in community and church and family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But can you also understand why a lot of people aren't sympathetic to him? Because the media doesn't want you to hear the other stories. And so people are building up resentment, and it falls on him because of the way the press is protecting the criminals and the gangbangers by not highlighting those stories. You got to understand that. Like, I know I'm going to get hate mail from someone for saying maybe this guy shouldn't be deported. I know I am. And while they may be mad at me for saying it, I understand their frustrations when the media won't tell you the other side of the story of the gangbangers and the criminals and the violent people that the judges are saying, no, you can stay in this country. I get their frustration. Now, to the phones I go. Let me start with Steve. Welcome to the show, Steve. How are you?
I am doing great. Eric, calling from your favorite corner of Northeast Georgia.
Excellent.
You said something a few days ago that I was reminded of last night. I was listening to Sean Hannity's program, and he was interviewing Lindsey Graham.
Mm-hmm.
And what you said was a few days ago is that because some people do not really have a core value of faith value that they adhere to, they basically assume no one does. And Lindsey Graham last night was basically demanding that the Ayatollah recant of his statements about annihilating the Jews. And I was sitting there, I was reminded of what you had said. He cannot do that because it would be basically asking him to speak blasphemy of his religion. It'd be the same thing as someone is demanding that you or I deny Jesus Christ. And when we don't understand totally where the values that these people are adhering to, and they're not afraid to die. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. This sect of Islam wants to bring chaos to the entire world. And that's why we had to go in and destroy their nuclear program, because they are hell-bent on bringing annihilation to the entire world, so that they believe will usher in their, quote, Messiah, the 12th Imam.
Yeah, look, I absolutely think Lindsey Graham is off on this. Now, I understand why he's saying that, because he's trying to find a compromise of, if we're not going to do regime change, here's what they need to do. But also, they can't do that. It is fundamental to the belief that the Jews are the devil and they need to be annihilated. This is derived from their branch of Shiite Islam, and they're not going to waver from that. And I agree with you. I think Lindsey Graham needs to recognize that. The problem, though, is that if Lindsey Graham recognizes that, and I actually think he does, then the only thing he can move to is, well, we need regime change, and he's trying not to be the regime change guy right now, even though that's what he wants. So I'll cut Graham a little bit of slack on that, because he wants regime change, but he just knows it's not going to happen. But concurrent to all of that, it is a problem. It's why we're not going to have peace. We're not going to get peace in the Middle East. We may get peace while Donald Trump is in office because they're scared of Donald Trump. But another president will come along, and they will again think, hey, you know what? We can go back to war. We can engage in terrorism again, and that's part of the problem here. Leadership matters. Bill, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, Bill. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
What's going on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
So I'm echoing pretty much what the other guy said, but basically I'm kind of really concerned about Trump's response to Iran's missiles shooting at our bases, and that it was a Western response to a Middle Eastern group of people, and ignored their culture. Where to me what they were saying was, we could kill you if we wanted to, but we won't. And we're not defeated, and we don't surrender. And when Trump then dumped on Israel for, not allowing Iran to have the last shot at them, and they responded back, again, to me, it's just ignoring the Middle Eastern culture. that he's dealing with. And it's just a matter of time until the EU gets all the sanctions lifted on Iran. They have the money again from their oil, and they start all over again, whether it's nuclear or conventional.
I really think that what's going to happen is if a Democrat gets back in the White House, they're going to instead of dropping bombs on Iran, they're going to drop more pallets of cash and let them rebuild. There is this. I'm actually in an email chat with some friends of mine, and one of them is a defense policy analyst, and said, that there is this growing body of international lawyers who practice international law who want you to believe that permanent victory is impossible, but victory actually is a decision. Winning the fight is a decision, and there are a lot of people invested in the idea now that permanent victory is not only impossible but immoral, that you got to let the other side have a break somehow. I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. I actually do believe that we can win out and out, and if it takes taking out the Ayatollah, maybe we should take out the Ayatollah, because he is an insane person who believes it's rational to bring about the apocalypse, and that's something we shouldn't want. Now, I want you to go to ericforhillsdale.com today and sign up for one of Hillsdale College's fantastic classes. They have 40 of them to choose from. 40. And they strike everybody's interest. There is a topic out there I know you're interested in, and you can spend time with the best faculty at Hillsdale. Do it at your own pace. Get a certificate of completion. You never pay a penny. Like, for example, there's Winston Churchill and Statesmanship. It is a history class. It is 6 lessons, and you go through why study Churchill, the problem of modern war, a strategy for modern war, the problem of modern politics, Churchill's plan for freedom, what Churchill teaches us about our time, 6 lessons. Each one is about 30 minutes long, plus or minus a few minutes. You do it at your own pace. You get a certificate of completion at the end. It's fabulous. They're all really, really good. Surely there's a topic you're interested in. Like, for example, there's one, it's 11 lessons on history, Western heritage from the book of Genesis to John Locke. You get Jerusalem, Athens, and the study of history. You get the Hebrews. You get the golden age of Greece. You get the political and philosophical legacy of Greece, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, early Christianity, the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, Reformation and Counter-Reformation, the scientific evolution, and from Elizabeth I to the Glorious Revolution. You get it all right there in 11 lessons. They're all about 30 minutes each, and you get a certificate of completion. You never pay a penny. You never pay a penny. You get educated on a topic you are interested in, from math to chemistry to religion to philosophy to literature. They're all there. And you learn more. You go in depth with some of the best, and you do it at your own pace. EricForHillsdale.com is the website. You never pay a penny. Eric, E-R-I-C-K, EricForHillsdale.com. Go improve your mind with Hillsdale College.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
151 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory continues in Cobb, right next to the home of the Braves. Crash investigation shutting down the 285 east or northbound interloop ramp to I-75 north. Go ahead and use South Cobb Drive, South Atlanta Road, or Cobb Parkway. Work your way up to Windy Hill and enter 75 north. In the backup, we also got a stalled big rig in the center lane, 285 northbound. The interloop is South Atlanta Road. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates, personal injury law firm. An injury can change your life. Give attorney John Foy the first shot and call for a free case evaluation. You deserve justice and help. Let them earn your trust and your business. Call John Foy or go to johnfoy.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
.com/dog.
365 days a year. Just call us up. We'll be right there. Our service is guaranteed. At Shoemate, we take great care. Our experts are always there for you and your family's needs. When your family just can't wait, you can always count on Shoemate.
Man's best friend. Loyal, trustworthy, dependable. Findlay Roofing is your roof's best friend. Loyal with a lifetime warranty, trustworthy with upfront pricing, and dependable with the highest quality work. FindlayRoofing.com.
Roof, roof.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelly Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for the Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
It's Eric, and one of the questions I get asked all the time is, Erickson, where do I get a computer? I don't want to worry about the setup and all the tech support stuff. Y'all, you go to Vision Computers. Call them at 404 Compute. Listen, when you call Vision, you're not getting stuck in a maze of hold music or menus. They answer the phone 15 seconds on average. That's right, 15 seconds. Real people, real help, real fast, right when you need it. And here's the part I love. You got an older computer, you got programs you rely on. Maybe QuickBooks or a niche software for your small business. You're afraid a new computer means losing it all or spending days doing transfers. Vision Computers got you covered. As long as your software is supported in Windows 11, they can move all your programs from your old computer to the new one efficiently, safely, and fast. It's like handing off all the hassle to someone who's an expert and knows what they're doing. So if you're thinking your old computer is fine but slowing down, maybe time for a new one. Call 404-COMPUTE today. That's 404-COMPUTE. Let Vision Computers take care of everything. You're never going to want to buy a computer another way.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects, now we need partners like you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Join Eric's Army of Activists. Text ARMY to 33777 now.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Alex Padilla, the senator from California, is still out there trying to get attention for being tackled at the Kristi Noem press conference. What bad timing for that guy. So he gets tackled the day the war starts between Israel and Iran, and he keeps doing like the circuits, trying to say, y'all remember me? I was tackled. Yes, we remember you. We just don't care. You sent out a fundraising note. Even on CNN, they were dismissive of this guy, and he is doing his level best to get as much attention as possible. It's really wild to see this guy out there doing that. I find the whole thing exceedingly funny. That he wants that attention. And we barely talk because it's such a dumb story. Even the Democrats have moved on from it. This guy's like, hey, I was willing to be tackled. I had my camera crew there. They caught it on tape. You got to talk to. No, Alex, we've moved on. I guess he wants to run for governor of California or something. He's trying to get attention. It's just so stupid. Meanwhile, in the Senate, they're running into problems with the Byrd rule. And the parliamentarian in the Senate is whittling down a lot of this stuff. One of them, a lot of people are relieved today. One of the provisions that the parliamentarian in the Senate has struck is Mike Lee's plan to sell federal land. It was very controversial. She argued that this is not a matter of tax and spending. It's a matter of new policy, and they're getting it stripped out. Now, both sides, you should understand, the habit from both sides is whatever doesn't get in there, they complain that it's the parliamentarians siding with the other side. So when the Democrats were doing it and the parliamentarians stripped out, remember they wanted to put in amnesty. the Democrats, well, this is just a parliamentarian siding with the Republicans. It's the same Senate parliamentarian now, and the Republicans are, well, this is Senate parliamentarian siding with the Democrats. I disagree with her decisions on some stuff. They're not going to challenge the parliamentarian. What she decides is going to stand, and in doing so, well, she's stripping out some of the big provisions, including a reversal of some of the Democrats' environmental policies. And her argument is actually that the environmental policies the Republicans are trying to get rid of was put in separate legislation. It wasn't put in the Democrats' reconciliation plan. And the Republicans are having a tough time getting around her. When we come back, we've got to dive into that. But there's also a lot else going on here, including Harvard trying to cut a compromise with the President of the United States. And the Democrats are now refocused on deportations and screaming about it because, well, they don't want to talk about Iran because the public likes what happened in Iran. And also, what does Trumpism mean at this point? So many people said it meant no more foreign wars, and yet we bombed Iran. What's it actually mean, if anything, at all?
All the notifications you need.
The story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit EXOVATIONS.com.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. A ceasefire between Israel and Iran is holding for now. CBS's Olivia Rinaldi on what President Trump is speaking out on, the President Trump now is speaking out on social media.
Just wrote on True Social that both Israel and Iran wanted to stop the war equally. It was my great honor, he writes, to destroy all nuclear facilities and capability and then stop the war. This is what the president just wrote on True Social. So clearly trying to keep together this very fragile agreement right now.
And moments ago, President Trump arriving in the Netherlands for a NATO summit where the tensions in the Middle East will be a hot topic along with the war between Russia and Ukraine. ICE says it's arrested 11 Iranian illegal immigrants in the U.S. The agency says the arrests over the past few days reflect the Department of Homeland Security's commitment to keeping known and suspected terrorists out of American communities. It is 94 degrees in Atlanta, a heat advisory until 8 p.m. tomorrow. Do storms bring us any relief from the heat this week? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. And on days like today, when there is a heat advisory, the Georgia Public Service Commission says Georgia Power cannot disconnect service to a residential customer for non-payment.
If you're in the middle of a heat wave, we try to make sure that the health of the Georgians is taken first and foremost.
The PSC's Tom Krause says the rule is a temporary restriction on power disconnection. When the heat advisory is lifted, the disconnection can be reinstated. 4 suspects are arrested in what Atlanta police are calling a hate crime in Midtown.
The vandalism is reported near the area's famous Rainbow Crosswalk at 10th and Piedmont. Officers discover a group recording themselves cutting pride flags outside Blake's on the Park while doing scooter stunts in the street. A witness calls 911 and officers track down 4 of the 6 suspects. 2 speed away. Those captured are facing several charges, including obstruction and criminal damage to property, as well as a pending hate crime charge. 3 of the suspects are in their late teens. The youngest is 16. Officers cite his father for failing to supervise his son. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
2 fires at car dealerships on Cobb Parkway overnight were deliberately set.
So initial indications are that both incidents were started by the same person,
seen walking down Cobb Parkway South.
Marietta Assistant Fire Chief Jason Garner says they're looking out at camera footage now up and down Cobb Parkway, hoping to identify that person. The fires happened at Atlanta Luxury Motors and Unlimited Auto Group. Anyone with information should call Marietta Fire or the arson hotline. There is a reward of up to $10,000 for information that leads to an arrest. It's 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
The big focus in America today is on your health, and more people looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. Hey, it's Mark Aaron for QC Kinetics. At QC Kinetics, they've been on the cutting edge of this medical revolution since 2018. Using regenerative medicine, they have helped tens of thousands of people get lasting joint pain relief using natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power. The truth is, regenerative medicine used to be an alternative treatment. Now it's mainstream, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader. Their well-respected protocols include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments to revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. They're not masking the pain. They're going after the very source of it. Yes, you can say goodbye to that chronic pain and live your best life. Learn more about this revolutionary treatment and get a free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now. 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are two very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
It's now 2:04, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, it's Alex Williams.
Travel advisory continues in Cobb County, right next to the home of the Braves. Truist Park, crash investigation shutting down the 285 North inner loop ramp to I-75 North. Also a stalled tractor trailer in the backup in the center lane before Paces Ferry Road. Go ahead and use South Cobb Drive, South Atlanta Road, some alternates to get you up toward Windy Hill. You can access 75 North. Long-standing stalled tractor trailer still on the right lane into Cab. 285 northbound, the outer loop at I-20 exit 46. You're slow starting just before Flat Shoals. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today. Potentially the hottest day so far this year. High 98. The heat index value is closer to 100 to 105. Lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, another hot afternoon. High 97. Watching for scattered showers and thunderstorms late in the afternoon through the evening hours.
92 right now in Acworth, 91 in Locust Grove, and 94 in Tucker. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello, America. It's Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number 877-973-7425. We have not talked about the big, beautiful bill much. We got to talk about the big, beautiful bill because it's becoming a boondoggle and it's a hassle for John Thune to get it through. According to Axios, Senate Majority Leader John Thune expects to start voting Friday on President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. He told Axios this would have them voting into the weekend and it would upend the House's recess next week. Thune is confident Congress will meet its self-imposed July 4th deadline to get the bill to Trump's desk. Thune huddled with Mike Johnson on Tuesday morning Minutes before the meeting, Thune told Axios he hadn't chatted with Johnson recently about the bill, saying we've kind of had our noses to the grindstone. House leadership has reportedly told people they're worried about being able to pass the Senate version. Changes to the SALT deduction, state and local taxes, and Medicaid provider taxes are the biggest concerns. On SALT, Thune said he knew it would be the last issue to get resolved, which it will be, but he still thinks that he can get to 51 votes to get it done. Meanwhile, from Politico, Senate Republicans have saved their plan to push some costs to the nation's anti-hunger program onto states, maintaining a crucial $41 billion spending cut that will pay for their policy megabill. The Senate parliamentarian on Tuesday approved Republican tweaks to give states more time between finding out how much of the SNAP program they'll need to pay for and when they actually need to start paying. This avoids one of the Republican leadership's top issues as they work to address several other adverse rulings from the parliamentarian. Now, what are those adverse rulings? Well, one of them is the land sale bill that that Mike Lee wanted. The Senate parliamentarian has ruled that Mike Lee's proposal to allow the sale of millions of acres of federal land fails to comply with the Byrd rule. The senators from Montana and Idaho have said they would oppose the legislation if it stuck it in, and the parliamentarian has done them a favor and thrown it out. There are also other provisions within the plan that keep getting struck, but SALT is the thing that hangs over it. And they don't know if they're going to be able to get it done. Now, you should know the President of the United States has taken to social media to say, don't leave town until you got me this bill on my desk. He's telling the House and the Senate, don't leave town. This is also from Politico. Senate Republican leaders want to start voting on the bill by Friday. Ron Johnson, Mike Lee, and Rick Scott met separately with Donald Trump at the White House on Monday as the president ramps up pressure on fiscal hawks. Trump told Scott he wants a repeal of green credits under the Biden-era climate law and supports a balanced budget, the senator said. They set a message for the House Freedom Caucus. Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma signaled progress is closing the chasm between the chambers over SALT. Senate leaders are floating a plan to help offset the effects of Medicaid changes on rural hospitals. Josh Hawley from Missouri told reporters he's absolutely happy with the rural fund, but cautioned, I don't know if it'll solve the issue. Senators also have to keep in mind 38 House Republicans who recently warned that John Thune must adhere to strict language between spending cuts and tax cuts. Andy Harris, House Freedom Caucus, told Politico he thinks Senate Republicans are already straying from the language. And then there's the Byrd rule. Senate banking Republicans are reworking a proposal to cut funding for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau after the parliamentarian threw out the way they had structured it. Mike Lee is floating a narrower plan to sell millions of acres of public land after the parliamentarian threw that out. John Kennedy of Louisiana says, eventually we'll pass something, I just can't tell you when. Now, here's the play-by-play. That gets you kind of into the weeds, but this is the deal. The president wants this plan done. The Senate tax cuts, the value of the tax cuts amount to $4.2 trillion, according to a new estimate. That's more than $4 trillion that House Republicans say they want to spend on tax cuts. The House Republicans wanted essentially dollar for dollar. We'll give you a tax cut for a spending cut with a little bit of leeway of about $500 billion to $1 trillion. Senate Republicans are saying, nope, they're going for broke. They want as big a tax cut as possible. They want to stimulate the economy. And in fact, you've got Kevin Hassett, the White House economic advisor over in the Senate, saying make it as big as possible and get it done as quickly as possible, because if it's done soon, it could offset the effects that tariffs might actually have by the June-July cycle of reports. The primary issue here that you need to understand is that, and again, I told you I've got calendar July 17th for holding myself accountable on tariffs. There's the growing concern is that we're going to start seeing tariffs in the data now and into July because companies like Walmart and Home Depot and others, they didn't raise prices until the end of May, so the economic data is starting to come out. So maybe we'll see it. Jerome Powell is testifying before Congress today that they might actually be able to lower interest rates sooner if the data doesn't show up in the next round of economic data, if the tariffs don't show up. And Kevin Hassett's argument is you get this passed now, you're going to stimulate the economy by businesses knowing they can plan ahead and save money. This is Rand Paul was on CNBC this morning.
Let's shift our attention to the tax bill. You have been basically a hard no on this proposal because you don't like what it does in terms of spending more, potentially blowing out the deficit to even higher levels. I think more recently, though, you've said you're not necessarily an absolute no. What would it take to convince you to vote for this bill?
Well, I'm a hard yes on the tax portion of it. I voted for the tax cuts in 2017. I think they led to a historic low in unemployment and a great economy. I'm for that. I think we should even add more tax cuts. I don't accept the CBO argument that they won't bring in more revenue. I think initially revenue goes down, but through economic growth, I think they will pay for themselves. So the tax cut portion I'm fine with. The spending cuts are weak, they're anemic, and they need to do more. Nothing in the bill changes the course of the accumulation of debt. We're accumulating about $2 trillion in debt every year. That's ongoing, and the bill will not materially change the direction of the accumulation of debt. But the most bothersome thing to me in the bill is that they're going to expand the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. If you have an irresponsible teenager and they max out their credit cards, you don't give them more credit, you give them less credit. You tell them to pay down their credit card. Congress is like an irresponsible teenager. They've shown that they're not good with money. So we should be giving them small increments of debt ceiling and then checking to see if they're behaving well with their money. So I'd give them about 3 months, and I'd come back in 3 months and say, what have you done to restrain your spending? And I'd have this vote every 3 months. Now, the administration doesn't want that. Most of the leaders don't. They're embarrassed by the vote because they tell the voters at home they're for balanced budgets and controlling the debt, and yet each year the debt goes up by trillions of dollars, and they've failed at their job, and the evidence of their failure is the debt ceiling vote. So presidents of both parties, leadership of both parties, they all want to avoid debt ceiling votes, so they are adding massive amounts, trying to get a couple years down the road so they don't have to face the consequences of their actions.
He's not wrong, by the way, and he's deeply concerned about that. I am too. I'm really worried about fiscal solvency. Kevin Hassett went on Fox this morning and essentially said we can get trade deals done if the Senate and the House go on and pass the big beautiful bill. Why? Because of the economic impact. They're waiting to get this bill done so they have a greater financial leeway to, frankly, put some additional tariffs down on other countries that aren't going to have a massive impact. I worry about the tariffs, but I do agree with Hassett that if you have a robust enough economy, it's kind of going to overwhelm the tariffs. So people are still going to be paying, but it's not gonna be as bad as it could be. Now, one more from Rand Paul on CNBC talking about, well, the votes, whether or not this can get out of the Senate.
Senator, I know that the Senate, that body is considering voting as early as this week as to whether to push this tax bill back to Congress or to the House. They're doing their own kind of whip count right now, but I wonder if you are as well. We've spoken to several Republican senators who have said that they would not vote for the bill as it stands right now. That would include you, Ron Johnson, Rick Scott, Mike Lee. Are you all doing your own whip count right now, or are each of you acting individually?
All it takes is those four. Those four can dramatically change the bill. And I think there's more courage on the right, frankly, than there is on the left of the Republican caucus. And I think that if the conservatives will hold strong, the bill could be materially changed for the better. And that means adding in more spending cuts. I also think the debt ceiling needs to be a separate vote. We'll see whether or not I win that part of the battle or not. But I do believe the bill is going to become less bad, more beautiful, but it has a ways to go.
We just spoke with a member of the Trump administration in the last 20 or 30 minutes who said that this bill is going to get passed and it will be passed by July 4th. The changes you're talking about will not take place by then. So do you think this will be passed by July 4th?
We'll see. I think the changes in the bill will happen up until the last minute until we vote. There will be there is the bill, and then there'll be a replacement to the bill in the first vote, what they call a manager's package, and it'll have all of this stuff added in. So there's going to be dozens and dozens and dozens of changes before we get to the final product. And I do think if conservatives stand together, if the public calls in and says, we've got to do something about the debt, I think there still is a chance that the bill could become much better.
We'll see about that. I got to tell you, at this point, they got to pass something. And nobody's happy with the bill. Nobody's really happy with the bill. The president himself is cheering on the bill, and even the president's like, it could be better. But it's all about getting the votes in the House and the Senate to get it passed. It's a massive amount of compromise, and that massive amount of compromise requires, guess what? Compromise. People are going to have to hold their nose on some of it. They can tweak some of it. Rand Paul, probably a no vote. Thomas Massie in the House, a no vote. Here's the thing. In the Senate, you can lose 4 votes. Having J.D. Vance be the tiebreaker. In the House, you got 2 to 3 votes. It depends on who shows up. 2 to 3 votes. It's going to be tough in the House. And it's the blue state SALT guys that are holding everybody hostage. The Senate does not want to go as high as the SALT guys from the blue states. That's the state and local tax deduction. Remember, if this fails in January, all of our taxes go up on an average of $1,500 per family in this country. But the SALT deduction comes back to 100%, so the millionaires and the billionaires, they get a tax cut. And the SALT guys understand that. And those millionaires and billionaires are their donors. They're holding all of us hostage to them. Markway Mullen, the senator from Oklahoma, is negotiating in good faith to try to reduce the $40,000, $50,000 deduction that the House SALT guys want, because it's a non-starter in the Senate. They're like, we're not going to do it. These guys are holding everybody hostage. And this hostage crisis for the budget is going to have spillover effects. So they got to find something to get it done. John Thune says he wants votes on Friday. When we come back, there's a provision in the legislation that actually we need to kill. It's dangerous. If you got the show today, you know what I'm talking about. That's the overview, the state of play of where we are with this. But when we come back, Tom Tillis of North Carolina has put a provision in the legislation that is actually bad and will undermine conservative goals. And I am told that Tillis did not realize the implications of his legislation, that he was essentially doing it because some businesses asked him to do it. And now that he's realized it, and John Thune has suddenly paid attention to it, it may get scrapped, because with that provision, if it becomes law, would undermine conservative efforts to go after woke corporations.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
220 Cool Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still a big mess on the northwest side of town, right next to Truist Park. Crash investigation shutting down the 285 east or north inner loop ramp to I-75 north. You're stacked up back to South Cobb Drive. 285 westbound is jammed in from Georgia 400. If you're coming over from 285 north, go ahead and think about South Cobb Drive, Cobb Parkway. Some alternates take you up to Windy Hill and get on 75 north. Stalled Big Rig cleared in DeKalb. All lanes open. 285 north, the outer loop at I-20 exit 46. Traffic brought to you by Sam's Club. Ready for some locked-in summer value at Sam's Club until July 22nd. Prices are held on over 1,000 items, including summer must-haves like ice cream. Sign up for a membership and join at samsclub.com/join. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
You're by the pool.
You're relaxing.
You're sipping a drink.
Someone brings you a towel.
Adjust the umbrella.
Sound like a fantasy?
It's not if you win $1,000 from WSB.
$1,000 Thursdays begins this Thursday.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBRadio.com or the WSB app within that hour, and you could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBRadio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays
from 95.5 WSB.
Where Atlanta wins.
Hi, Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit EXOVATIONS.com.
Market volatility isn't slowing down. If you're nearing retirement, now is not the time to wait and see. Every day of uncertainty can put your future at risk. It's time to diversify. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I want you to know you can create certainty, locking in guaranteed income for life. This means predictable, stable cash flow, even in turbulent times. You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Right now, there are options to receive up to 30% upfront or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't wait. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any examples provided are hypothetical. Annuities are issued with prospectus and sales brochures and should be reviewed carefully before funding as features and benefits vary. DBA in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
That's you, looking at your garage door. And you're wondering, if it gets windy, just how much can this door take? 20 miles an hour? 30 miles an hour? Sure, if we get a little wind, your buddy says if you back the car up against it just right, you can probably save it. But what's your clever plan the next time we get a storm with a name? At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Storm-rated doors are built to withstand heavy winds, even if your building codes aren't there yet. It's like the door to the safe that protects your whole house. Stronger materials, heavy-duty motors and springs to handle the weight, and reinforced struts to keep it from bowing out in the wind. How do I know it won't bow? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll make sure you're prepared the next time a storm with a name comes sailing across the Gulf of Mo.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. I got to put this on your radar. I'll get to phone calls here in just a moment. Be patient with me. Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina has added something to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It's legislation that goes after third-party litigation financing. Will Hild in the Daily Caller has a piece explaining this. Third-party litigation financing is a contract in which a third party offers funding for a lawsuit in exchange for an interest in damages recovered. Now, that sounds like something progressive use, and it is something progressive use, but conservatives have figured out how to use it now. This is Will Hild. Without it, large corporations have the ability to crush opposition with high-priced lawyers and never-ending legal fees. But with litigation financing, everyday Americans can access the financial capital they need just to have a chance to fight back against companies that have increasingly participated in DEI-related discrimination, debanking, and other aspects of the far left's agenda. While Senator Tillis presents his bill unassumingly as a tax, in truth it would impose a 41% punitive levy on all litigation financing with the clear intent of financially disincentivizing investors for supporting lawsuits. If passed, the legislation would further empower large woke corporations like Bank of America, which has been accused of debanking the accounts of Christian activist groups and conservatives, or Nationwide, which threatened litigation after it was called out for attempting to rebrand its DEI policies under the banner of belonging. But it doesn't stop with the woke agenda. Large corporations would have nothing more than to free themselves from the accountability that comes with litigation financing. For example, the notoriously woke ride-sharing platform Uber faced class action lawsuits for multiple women over allegations of sexual assault by drivers, including claims of kidnapping, rape, stalking, harassment, and other attacks. From 2017 to 2020, there were more than 9,998 cases of sexual assault on Uber's U.S. platform. Without financial support, in many instances, victims would not have the means to face a company of Uber's size. Not so coincidentally, Uber is at the forefront of a regulatory assault on third-party finance litigation. I don't know that Tom Tillis's provision is going to make it past the Senate parliamentarian. What I do know is I think John Thune needs to take a hard look at this provision and possibly get rid of it from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It shouldn't be there. Now, you should probably be calling Swiss America. Swiss America has been warning people about a secret war on cash. We've got interest rates where they are. Jerome Powell's non-committal about lowering anytime soon. Swiss America has been the trusted leader in precious metals for 40 years, and they've been warning people about the secret war on cash. If you're interested in safeguarding your hard-earned cash from this war, you need their free report. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. They can educate you on protecting your assets. The report takes less than 15 minutes to read. Can save on your retirement and finances. You get a free copy by calling or texting 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. And by the way, this war on cash from the government includes digital forms of currency. Just mention my name, Eric, when you call or text 800-289-2646. You can text my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. The report is completely free from Swiss America. 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply. See if Swiss America can help you understand the secret war on cash. Yo, it's Eric. I know as a homeowner, you start seeing the cracks in the wall or the door starts sticking. You wonder what's going on. You could have a foundation problem. Engineered Solutions of Georgia is the only foundation repair company in Georgia with licensed engineers on staff providing the highest quality of work. If you got concerns, reach out to them for a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. President Trump in the Netherlands for a NATO summit. The conflict between Iran and Israel, as well as Russia's war in Ukraine, expected to be the summit's top issues. The meeting comes on the heels of the ceasefire between Israel and Iran announced by Trump on Monday. After the U.S. carries out attacks on nuclear sites in Iran, CBS's Scott McFarland reports the FBI is directing field offices to focus their resources on terror threats.
Concern about threats from Iran sympathizers or sleeper cells or potential Iran-backed operatives in the United States is higher than ever, according to Homeland Security officials and one Homeland Security expert who spoke with CBS News, at least as high as it's been in the last 40, 50 years.
The suspects accused of cutting up pride flags in Midtown Atlanta will face hate crime charges. Police say they caught the suspects filming themselves outside Blake's on the Park on 10th Street early this morning. After a witness called 911, police say the group was also doing stunts on scooters in the intersection. 2 sped away, but 4 suspects were arrested. All are teenagers, one of them 16. Police released new video this afternoon as they work to identify the 2 remaining suspects. Wellstar releases new details on a newly newly proposed hospital for the Ackworth area. The health system says the $1 billion facility would be 8 stories, 675,000 square feet, bringing more than 1,500 jobs to the region. It is 2:32, and up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show for Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Looking for a new truck and looking for a great deal? Of course you are. Well, I have a great deal on the Tundra for you, and the only place you're going to find it, the only place you're going to hear about it is right here. Go to beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals and save money on your new Toyota Tundra. It's that easy. beavertoyotacumming.com/Dave's Deals. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming is the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Hey, homeowners, it's Eric Erickson. You wouldn't trust Mac with a jack to fix your home's sinking foundation problem, would you? I certainly wouldn't. Serious issues need serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, so are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the 24-hour traffic center.
No change right next to Truist Park, the home of the Braves. Crash investigation still blocking the 285 east or northbound interloop ramp to I-75 northbound. You're stacked in from South Cobb Drive. Take South Cobb Drive, South Atlanta Road, Cobb Parkway, all alternates to get you up to Windy Hill or Delk Road, where you can hop on 75 north. It's also put extra pressure on 285 westbound, the outer loop leaving Georgia 400 and Sandy Springs, and filling up downtown 75-85 northbound from Highway 166 Langford Parkway. Southbound delays packing in right at the 85-400 merge. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Heat advisory in effect until 8 p.m. tomorrow. Right now, 93 in College Park, 94 in Lawrenceville, 93 in Alpharetta. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Politics, culture, and faith. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Greetings, conversationalists. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, stand by. I will get to your phone calls in just a moment. Before I do, I need to make a brief point. Today is the mayoral election in New York City, which probably every single person listening to this program knows, because the American Press Corps cannot shut up about it. No, it's true. I talked about it yesterday, in large part because having a socialist, a Muslim socialist on the verge of winning in New York City to turn that place into San Francisco shows you the crack up of the left. They're trying to find legitimacy somewhere, and I'm not sure the guy can pull it off, but the media is almost openly cheering for this guy. The thing, though, that bugs me, and this has always bugged me, if a major storm rips through Oklahoma, the media barely covers it. But if New York City gets 3 flakes of snow, by God, it is a national news story everywhere. The ABC, CBS, and NBC nightly newscasts on TV open with it. So the mayor of New York City gets overwhelming and obsessive attention in that election when it doesn't affect you or me one little bit. I don't live there. Now, listen, I got a sizable live stream audience in New York. And for those of you who live in New York City, you need to go vote today to stop this guy. And if you got to vote for Andrew Cuomo to stop him, hold your nose and get it done. But there is a lot of online cheering for this socialist potential mayor of New York. But there's also a heat dome. Dun, dun, dun. Have you heard about the heat dome? So I'm broadcasting from my flagship station today, WSB in Atlanta, Georgia. And on the control, on the consoles where we sit, they have a number that jumps around, and you can tell the wind is blowing because it gives you the temperature outside in the courtyard. And I'm looking at it right now, and it's 96, 106, 107, 94, 97, 93, 104. The wind is blowing, and it's casting a shadow in front of this thermometer, and when the shadow crosses it, it's in the mid-90s, and when the sun is directly on it, it's like 106 to 107 on Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Georgia. It's hot. It's hot. Guess what? It is June 24th, a few days after the summer solstice, the brightest day of the year with the most sunlight in the middle of summer with high humidity. It's hot in the South. The national media wants you to know there's a heat wave globally in London. London. It's a heat wave. People are struggling in London. It's so hot. Do you know how hot it is in London today? Not at night. In London, do you know what the high temperature was in London today? See, and they give it to you in Celsius, which is not real temperature. Fahrenheit is the only real temperature. Fahrenheit is the only one that makes sense. The Europeans ruin everything. Do you know how hot it is in London today? It's so hot in London, people are in distress from the heat of 74 degrees. Not 80. Not 85, not 90, it's 74 to 76 degrees in the city of London, England today. And the media is freaked out about it. And it's hotter in New York City. Oh, Andrew Cuomo's got to get old people to go vote, and there's a heat dome. It's 99 degrees. 99 degrees, I'll trade you. I bet you don't have the humidity I have in Atlanta, Georgia today. I struggle to breathe with the humidity. I might as well stick my head in the toilet and inhale. The humidity is so thick, and it'll smell about the same in Atlanta as well. I stopped at a Starbucks before I went into the office, and I got out of my car, and I went inside to pick up the terrible coffee because there's not a reasonable coffee shop right around where I am, so I had to go to the Crap Mermaid restaurant. It's terrible coffee, y'all. But I needed coffee. And by the time I got back to my car, I used the app. I was at the stoplight. Maybe I shouldn't admit it. I pushed a little button. It got it to the 14th Street Starbucks in Atlanta, Georgia. I went in and I got it. By the time I got out, a homeless man had taken a dump in the bushes right by my car. And not only was it 100 degrees and 100% humidity, but it smelled like human feces. I felt like I was in hot San Francisco. I mean, talk about a steamy day. There was a steaming divot right behind the bushes from a homeless man. Left me a little present. This isn't San Francisco, and it's not New York City. I shouldn't have to deal with that in Atlanta, Georgia. And yet there it was, a pile of poop and the homeless man fleeing the scene, pulling his pants up. It was disgusting. I'm starting to gag just thinking about it. Nonetheless, had it happened in New York City, it would be the lead story on the evening news because they're obsessed with New York City. New York's mayoral elections, New York snowflakes, New York's trash collection. Stop it. Stop it. It's like the trans community. You people in the media are obsessed with boys and girls sports and how the girls are the victims. You are polluted in this New York City hive mind. Why don't you move? Ted Turner's genius was putting CNN in Atlanta, Georgia, and that network went downhill the moment they decided to send everybody up to New York City. So they sounded like everybody else. When CNN was in Atlanta, Georgia, it actually wasn't as left-wing deranged. Yes, there were always liberals there. He was a freaking communist, Turner was. God bless him. He was genius. But come on. Really? When you were in Atlanta, Georgia, you covered the military homecomings at the local Walmart in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Now that you're in New York City, you obsess about a socialist mayor in New York who literally affects no one else in the United States of America. Those military homecomings were symbolic of everybody. You know, I said when I went to CNN, I went to Fox News first. Bill Shine was there, tried to lure me over, and he pointed out that CNN and MSNBC fight over the coasts. MSNBC gets a little more listenership or viewership because they get the college towns. They're super progressive. And Fox gets everybody else within 100 miles of a river valley. Because Fox, even though they're headquartered in New York City, spends an inordinate amount of time researching what the people near the Red River care about, what the people near the Allegheny care about, what the people near the Missouri River care about, what the people near the Mississippi River care about. CNN and Fox, or CNN and MSNBC, they only care what people in San Francisco and New York City care about. And what they care about are socialist mayoral politics. The rest of us couldn't care. It's just another example of the brokenness of the American media, that if New York City gets 3 snowflakes, the rest of us have to hear about it, and we don't care. And if New York City has a heat wave, we have to hear about the heat dome is killing thousands of Americans today. I live in the South. I got a heat dome every day the sun shines in the summer. By God, I'm from Louisiana. I am from Louisiana, and guess where I grew up? I'll tell you about a heat wave. There were days you could hang your clothes outside when there was no humidity and it was 100+ degrees, and by the time you got to the end of the clothesline, it was all dried. In Louisiana, it doesn't work that way. In Louisiana, it's like 30 degrees outside, but 2,000% humidity, so you still feel like you're in the boiler. And then you go to South Georgia, and you got the gnats and the humidity. You people in New York City, learn what the gnat line is, and then shut up about your 3 snowflakes. Now, I will move on to phone calls. Tim in Point Beach, Florida, welcome to the Eric Erickson Show. How are you?
I'm good, Eric, and I'm sorry about your defecation episode today. That's
Let's just be clear, it wasn't me.
No. I know. I'm sorry. I should have said feces. But let's put it this. Look, you were talking about the immigration thing. I mean, it's a war. We got terror cells, violent gangs, violent criminals. It's a war. We're going to have collateral damage, whether it's a handful or a couple of hundred out of millions of people. We're going to have these sad episodes, and maybe hopefully we can figure it out and try to fix it. You know, take the ones we're not sure about, take their names, and maybe we'll get them down the line. But we're going to have collateral damage. And I know the left loves that because they jump all over that. But it's going to happen. We're not perfect. It's going to happen. We're going to make mistakes. But it's necessary evil. I know it stinks.
Yeah, it's necessary. You know, Tim, I wouldn't even say evil. It's just war is sometimes necessary. And we've got a bunch of people, not just on the left, but predominantly on the left, who've decided that not only can war never be held, but the United States is not allowed to win a war. We've always got to tie our hands behind our back. It's not fair if we take out a regime. I personally would feel way more comfortable if we were still bombing this not out of Iran today, because what is it? It's an old Israeli expression that a wounded lion heals. Yeah, I would rather take out the lion of Tehran. Greg, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Appreciate all that you do and say.
Thank you.
So for a long time, we've been signaling to Iran that we would take out their nuclear facilities way ahead of when the bombing was happened. We've been talking about it. And that gave them plenty of time to move the fissionable material, the enriched uranium out of those facilities. And, no one is talking about the fact that they might have enough material now to have a bomb if they just put it together. Netanyahu, didn't he say that they have, they're really close? And so why isn't anybody talking about the fact that they might have a bomb and want to use that to, it only takes one medium-sized one to take out Tel Aviv. So, I'm just curious why No one's talking
So
about that.
okay, so here's what we know. Let's put all of this in perspective. We know they might have moved their nuclear material. There were trucks seen leaving the Fordo. Y'all forgive me if I accidentally say Frodo because I've been working on it all week. The nuclear material leaving the Fordo nuclear facility. We've seen the trucks. The centrifuge is hard to move, hard to stop them, hard to move them. Odds are they couldn't, but they've been storing the nuclear material. And my guess is Israel knows where the nuclear material went, if at all. But they've killed all the top scientists. They've killed all the top researchers. They've killed all the top members of the military. It's going to take them a while to rebuild that capacity. In the meantime, I think the Israelis are gambling they can figure out where it went. Now, could Iran build a dirty bomb? Yeah, they could lace a bomb with some radioactive explosive material, and it would be a problem. But the larger problem is still their nuclear capacity, and now that is gone. By the way, I got to say, there's a lie being told that the Americans are the ones who gave Iran their nuclear war-making capabilities, and that's not true. Cornel West said it on CNN last night. In the 1950s, the United States did, when the Shah of Iran was there, help them build a nuclear reactor for civilian power. So this was when the nuclear age, the rage of that. There was never a nuclear weapons program the United States helped set up. There was never a nuclear refinement capabilities set up. It was all nuclear power. And yet the left is trying to tie the two. Well, we gave them the nuclear material. Not exactly. We didn't help them refine it. This is why it is now 2025, and they're only just on the verge of getting a weapon. Just think about it logically. If we gave it to them in the 1950s, why is it now and they still don't have a bomb? Because we didn't actually give them what people like Cornel West said we did, because there are people like West who love to blame America first. John, you're going to be the last caller today. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Eric. This is Jarhead John from Atlanta.
Welcome.
I served my country with honor, and it pains me to no end when somebody burns the American flag. But that's their freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
But here in Atlanta, we had some people film themselves cutting up pride flags. Well, I'm sure they're going to be caught because they're on video, and they are going to be charged with a hate crime. I don't understand why that wouldn't be freedom of speech. I mean, I don't think it's right, but it's no different than burning the American flag.
Okay, so let me do a little bit of nuance in this one. I don't think they should be charged with a hate crime. I think that's stupid. But if they burned their pride flags, there should be no crime. But they stole other people's pride flags to burn. And if they stole somebody's American flag to burn, they would get charged with a crime. They shouldn't be charged with a hate crime. I think the hate crime is stupid. I'm opposed to hate crimes laws because you're essentially criminalizing someone's thoughts. And you know what? Criminals have bad thoughts. And so you're only criminalizing some people's bad thoughts and not other people's bad thoughts. I just think it's dumb. It's a group of teenagers, though, that's happened here in Atlanta. A group of pride flags being burned. My problem is that the teenagers vandalized other people's private property, and they should be punished for that. They didn't go burn their own pride flags. What I find stupid is when they try to go after the kids who leave tire marks on, you spend all this money on a pride flag crosswalk. Of course, you're just asking for tire marks on it. It's stupid to go after people for that. But this, they tore down someone else's pride flag and then cut them up with knives and bragged about it. You're a vandal. Is it a hate crime? No. I think it's stupid, but it's not a hate crime, and we shouldn't have hate crimes legislation anyway. But, of course, in Atlanta, they'll do that because it's virtue signaling for government to charge people with hate crimes. Problem is distinguishing what is hate and who's being hated on, because some people who commit crimes hate, and they don't get charged with a hate crime. Why? Because it's the government discriminating. Now, I want you with discriminating tastes to go to Vision Computers, because you don't want to go to the one-size-fits-all big box store to get your computer. You want a computer that's your computer. You want a computer that's made for you, for your needs and for your wants. And Vision Computers is going to do that. They're going to spend time with you. They're going to listen to your needs and your wants, and they're going to build you a computer that lasts you a while, that is easily upgradable, and you get their award-winning 5-star customer service. Vision Computers works with you. You get their customer service. If ever you have a problem with the computer, you can call a very special number that you alone get and other Vision Computers customers. And in 15 seconds or less, they answer the phone. There's no like press 1, press 5, press 3, press 5, press pound. It's just they answer the phone and they answer your question. They can even remote in. They can fix your computer. And they work with people in all 50 states. 404-COMPUTE. If you call them at 404-COMPUTE, you tell them Eric Erickson sent me, you're going to save even more money. 404-COMPUTE. Or go to visioncomputers.com. But call them at 404-COMPUTE, any one of you nationwide. Tell them Eric Erickson sent you. You're going to save some money. And if you just want their tech support, it's $199 a year per computer. Your entire business, you can buy a package from Vision for each computer. You don't have to have the 6-figure in-house IT guy. You let Vision do it for $199 a year. And it just works. They work. They work with you. They do printer support, email support, you name it. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
252 Cool-Ray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Crash cleanup continues to block the 285 north or eastbound inner loop ramp to I-75 northbound there in Cobb County, right next to Truist Park. That's caused the delays back to South Cobb Drive. Take South Cobb Drive, South Atlanta Road, or Cobb Parkway up toward Windy Hill, where you can enter 75 northbound. It's also caused 285 westbound delays back through Sandy Springs. Downtown already slow on 400 south from Lennox Road as you make your way into Midtown and downtown, with northbound filling in from Langford Parkway. Traffic brought to you by Echo Park Speedway. Experience the Quaker State 400, available at Walmart Saturday, June 28th, under the lights in Atlanta. Get your tickets now at echoparkspeedway.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It doesn't have to be like this.
You don't have to put up with it.
Shutting down the ramp from 285 east.
You don't have to sit in it.
It takes almost 30 minutes to go 400 south.
And you don't have to look at your phone to get out of it.
It is Atlanta traffic, and getting you out of it is what we do best.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
Updated traffic as often as you need it from local traffic reporters 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It's a jackknife tractor trailer.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta gets there.
That's you looking at your garage door, and you're wondering, if it gets windy, just how much can this door take? 20 miles an hour? 30 miles an hour? Sure, if we get a little wind, your buddy says if you back the car up against it just right, you can probably save it. But what's your clever plan the next time we get a storm with a name? At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Storm-rated doors are built to withstand heavy winds, even if your building codes aren't there yet. It's like the door to the safe that protects your whole house. Stronger materials, heavy-duty motors and springs to handle the weight, and reinforced struts to keep it from bowing out in the wind. How do I know it won't bow? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll make sure you're prepared the next time a storm with a name comes sailing across the Gulf of Mo.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
When someone's AC is on the fritz, drains are clogged, or wall outlets are sparking, Castile Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical never asks, how soon do you need it fixed? You know why? Because no one in recorded history has ever said, oh, take your time, just whenever you can get to it. We just assume, how fast can you get here will always be the answer. So Castile will be there same day, and we won't leave until you're 100% satisfied. See? Sometimes it's good to assume. It gets your AC fixed fast. Book today at CastileAir.com.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, Atlanta's engagement ring and wedding band destination since 1939. Why? Hand-picked diamonds that just shine brighter at a value that can't be beat. An unbelievable selection of engagement rings and wedding bands. And because we've been jewelers for generations, we can bring your dream ring to life with full custom abilities. So when it's time for the next chapter, come see Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939, D. Geller & Son, in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a phone on us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hello, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. I gotta tell you, oil prices are nosediving. Donald Trump has announced that he does not care if China continues buying oil from Iran. Oil prices have fallen more than 5% as a result, and the stock market has gone up. Jerome Powell is suggesting a wait-and-see posture. They want to see if the tariff data starts showing up, and meanwhile, toy prices are starting to get more expensive because of them. 3 out of 4 toys sold in the United States come from China, and prices are starting to go up 2.2% between April and May, far outpacing the 0.1% inflation rate for all items that month. So there's tariffs starting to show up in the data somewhat. The Jerome Powell and the Fed want to watch to be careful, but oil prices going down today as the market rallies. It looks like the peace is holding right now. It looks like Israel and Iran are honoring the terms of the ceasefire that, if you're going full circle, essentially said the president was like, we're going to do a ceasefire. It was news to all of them, and they're like, okay, I guess we'll do the ceasefire, and they did. So much for World War III. Tucker Carlson, at least he got the population of Iran right.
Wednesday, starting at 5 a.m. on Atlanta's Morning News, heat advisory in effect for the metro, so you want to pay special attention to our exclusive 5-day forecast. Breaking metro stories, 2 and triple team traffic, get you to work on time. Plus the latest in the U.S., Iran, Israel story. How's the ceasefire holding up or not? Plus the only way Clark Howard says you can retire when you want to. I'm Chris Chandler. Join us for Atlanta's Morning News on WSB.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
We all know homeowners insurance premiums have gone up, and away. And now I'm going to ask you to pay more on your homeowners insurance. I know what's wrong with me, because there's something that we're not doing. With home values having gone up so much over the last many years, the cost of construction, overwhelmingly, we're underinsured as homeowners. So I'd rather you do the trade-off where you raise the deductible on your homeowner's insurance and raise the coverage limits. It may help cancel each other out, but get you covered for a true disaster. In addition, do you have enough liability insurance on your homeowner's policy? Somebody gets hurt on your property? Most of us don't have enough coverage. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. Police are looking for 2 more teen suspects who vandalized gay pride flags in Midtown Atlanta overnight. Here's a